Chapter 141. Then, everyone looked at Muchichi. Third aunt, you misunderstood me. I don't have a rich boyfriend. I only have a sponsor. Who are you trying to fool? Third daughter-in-law? Didn't you see the person who brought Muchichi here just now? Grandpa Sheng suddenly interrupted. Of course I recognize him. He is Sheng Zhao's assistant, Jing Yun. Third aunt said. She already knew the gravity of the situation. Since you know that he is Jing Yun, you should know who is the sponsor for Muchichi, Grandpa Sheng said coldly. Third aunt suddenly stopped talking. She had never thought that Muchichi could have such a fortuitous encounter. Who did Jing Yun represent? Didn't he represent Sheng Xiao? Didn't you say that the sponsor is a French tycoon? Mu Tongxue changed the topic to the possibility that Muchichi was lying. I never said that my sponsor is French. I'm afraid the Mu family is the one who investigated it. Muchichi refuted Mu Tongxue with little effort. Actually, the person who sponsored me was Assistant Jing Yun of the Sheng family. The Sheng family is our enemy. But when I was homeless, it was the Sheng family who took me in and took care of me. Muchichi smiled. Or do you want me to tell the truth to all the elders here? But I don't think it is necessary to waste everyone's time, right? The gap between them was huge, especially when they were talking. Muchichi's calmness and Mu Tongshua's pressuring attitude were worlds apart. They had completely different attitudes and lives. Why are these two sisters so weird? Why do they look like they hate each other? After hearing what third aunt said, Mu Tongxue lowered her head and cried. She did not care whether the others cooperated or not. It was as if the whole family was bullying her. Why are you crying all of a sudden? Third aunt quickly wiped Mu Tongshue's tears. How much have you been wronged? Third aunt, I am fine. I am used to it. If both of them were used to it, then who was telling the truth? Muchichi ignored him and pointed at the gifts Jing Yun had brought in. I've brought some gifts for our first meeting. I hope you'll like them. You're just a child. Why do you need to prepare these things? The old man felt that he had a lot of face. Muchichi and Mu Tongxue were on completely different levels when it came to handling things. It's my first time here, so I can't go empty-handed. I just hope that uncle will like it. What do you think of this child? The old man was satisfied. He turned to look at his children. I didn't embarrass you, did I? This child knows the big picture and knows his limits. Did he make you feel bad? They looked at each other but didn't say anything. But at that moment, Rong Junhan rushed into the Shin family. After all, she was the eldest sister-in-law of the Shin family. So it was not inappropriate for her to do that. When Rong Junhan arrived, third aunt and Mu Tongxue looked at each other. They knew what was going on. They knew that Muchichi would be in big trouble soon. If he could make the Shin family happy, then what about the one who was the most difficult to please? Mu Tongxue had been humiliated before, but before Rong Junhan sat down, Muchichi bowed deeply to Rong Junhan. What are you doing? Rong Junhan did not expect Muchichi to do that. To make you feel better, said Muchichi. She straightened her back. Oh, don't you think that I'm just an outsider and you're the real Shin? Is there really no need for you to bow down to me? Rong Junhan glanced at Mu Tongxue from the corner of her eyes. Then she asked Muchichi. Of course, she was mocking Mu Tongxue. To the Shin family, I'm just an outsider. How can blood relations compare to decades of companionship? Muchichi answered smoothly. Don't you think that you're innocent? But I think it's harder for Aunt Rong. After hearing Muchichi's answer, Rong Junhan looked at her from head to toe and smiled. You've both grown up in the Mu family. Why is there such a big difference? Mu Tongshue's expression changed slightly, because Muchichi had changed so much in such a short time. She seemed to not know Muchichi anymore. She used to be such a weak girl. But now, she had become so considerate and considerate. Wasn't it a slap to her face? Even Rong Junhan did not give her a hard time. Who was the one who taught her? Muchichi stood in front of Rong Junhan as if she was being punished. But Muchichi did not complain at all, because she knew that once Rong Junhan had vented her anger, she would feel better. Then she would be reasonable. Sure enough, After 3 minutes, Rong Junhan nodded and said to Muchichi, "You're a brave one. You're better than some people." Mu Tongshua's eyes were filled with tears, but she could not cry. Perhaps she was too good at acting just now, because she hated Muchichi. It was as if Muchichi knew what the Shin family wanted. She would give them whatever they wanted. Wasn't it because she had done her homework beforehand? "Sister, who did you learn from? Let me learn from you. Otherwise, I will always feel guilty if I make the elders unhappy." But Muchichi ignored Mu Tongshua's question. She said to Grandpa Shin directly, "Grandpa, please allow me to give the gifts to all the uncles." "Go ahead," said Grandpa Shin. Mu Tongshue was ignored by Muchichi just like that. So, she was even more indignant. She stood in front of Muchichi and said, "Sister, don't you think it's too much to treat me like this? I'm talking to you. Today is a good day. I don't want to quarrel with you, so you should be more conscious. Don't cause trouble," said Muchichi directly. "I'm also a member of the Shin family. What gives you the right to ignore me and look down on me? Why are the sisters quarreling all of a sudden?" Third aunt knew that it was not the right occasion, so she quickly pulled Mu Tongshue to her side. "There are guests at night. You don't have to quarrel with her now. When the time comes, you can show your consideration and make your grandfather proud. That's more important than anything else. Do you understand?" Mu Tongshue clenched her fists tightly. She held back her tears and glared at Muchichi fiercely. She did not say anything. "Don't worry. It's not night yet. I have an idea." Third aunt calmed Mu Tongshue down. "You're not her opponent now. Don't make everyone hate you. It's not worth it." Chapter 142. Muchichi did not care about Mu Tongshue at all. Everyone in the Shin family was looking at Muchichi, so no one noticed that Mu Tongshue was taken away by third aunt. "I heard that you are studying forensic science. How did a girl like you come into contact with corpses?" Second aunt asked Muchichi. "You will smell rotten all the time. It will be hard for you to find a boyfriend." When Grandma passed away, Mu Tongshue and I were there, but we did not have any evidence. So I was slandered for killing Grandma. I was even chased out of the family. Then, someone told me that I could study forensic science. From then on, I found my goal. There is nothing wrong with studying forensic science. At least I can speak for the dead. You have an idea. Second aunt had a better understanding of the child now. Most importantly, it was because Rong Junhan did not reject Muchichi. But I did not expect that you two have such a deep grudge against each other. Muchichi smiled faintly. Actually, her grudge against Mu Tongshue was not just a little bit. Grandma's death, the exchange of their grades and Mommy's death were enough for her to cut Mu Tongshue into pieces. And today, she was here to cut her into pieces. Mu Tongshue and third sister-in-law are quite close now. But they disappeared in such a short time. Don't worry about it. Let's talk. Grandpa Shin called Muchichi to his side. Since you have decided to become a forensic doctor, you must do well in front of Grandpa. Of course, I will be responsible for my own life. Do you have a boyfriend? Second aunt could not help but ask Muchichi more questions. I think it is too early for children nowadays to fall in love. In the living room, the elders and Muchichi were having a heated conversation. Third aunt brought Mu Tongshue to her room and persuaded her. Silly girl, why are you so impatient? It is obvious that your sister has been taught by a master. Can't you see it? But third aunt, what should I do now? It seems that the whole family does not like me. That's because they are prejudiced against you. Moreover, you are just meeting your family now. You should leave a good impression when the guests come at night. Maybe you'll have a new way out in the future. But I really don't want to see Muchichi strutting around. Third aunt, I am also the flesh and blood of the Shin family. I don't want to be inferior to her. What Mu Tongshue cared about the most right now was how others would look at her. Now that everyone was praising Muchichi, what did that make her? Let me think about it, third aunt said thoughtfully. Third aunt was still willing to support Mu Tongshue even though she knew that the Sheng family was behind Muchichi. The reason was simple. Mu Qiqi was too smart to be manipulated by others. Mu Tongxue, on the other hand, was different. Her weakness was obvious, and so was what she wanted. Since that's the case, let's make a fool out of her tonight. After that, Third Aunt hooked her finger at Mu Tongxue and whispered the plan into her ear. But you might have to suffer a little. After listening to Third Aunt's plan, Mu Tongxue shook her head. As long as Mu Qiqi is hated, I can do anything. Then you must stay calm and wait for the guests to arrive. They went back to the living room while discussing. This time, Second Aunt caught them and said with a smile, Third sister-in-law is really good at coaxing people. Mu Tongxue seems to be in a better mood now. Mu Tongxue is a straightforward person. It's inevitable that she will offend people. She is not like others who know how to coax people and make everyone happy. Third Aunt said with a smile. But, second sister-in-law, you still have to be careful of those people who are obviously trained. They are only 18 years old. Their words are watertight. Be careful not to trap them. You will still be counting the money for them. Mu Qiqi knew that Third Aunt's words were directed at her. Moreover, Second Aunt was not good with words. After being humiliated, she could only stare at Third Aunt and sulk. Mu Qiqi watched everything quietly. She finally understood what Shang Xiao meant when he said that the sisters-in-law did not get along well with each other. This person has not returned to the family and you are already in a hurry to pick sides? Grandpa Shin could not help but snort. Is this worth quarreling with? Let's go and see the gifts Mu Qiqi brought for you. They are all carefully prepared by her. But actually, the person who prepared the gifts was Jing Yun. It had nothing to do with her. Then, Second Uncle said in surprise, It's my favorite De Hong Pao. Second Aunt quickly opened her gift when she heard that. This massager can only be found overseas. It has been out of stock for a long time. This gift is indeed meticulously prepared. She even knows what everyone likes. This niece of mine is really thoughtful. Third Aunt took the opportunity to mock them. Since you like it so much, I will give you my share. Tongxue, you are so honest. How can it be compared to this? Mu Qiqi did not say anything. She looked at Grandpa Shin. The show was getting more and more interesting. All right, let's go. Qiqi will accompany Grandpa around. The others can do whatever they want. Then, Grandpa Shin stood up and brought Mu Qiqi to his fish pond. He asked Mu Qiqi, You know very well that Mu Tongxue is not a member of the Shin family, right? I know very well, said Mu Qiqi. Do you have to wait until the last moment to reveal the truth? Grandpa, this person killed Grandma and Mommy. I can forgive anyone but her. She must pay the heaviest price. Then, do you know who caused your father to become a vegetable? Grandpa Shin asked her again. But before she could answer, he said, That scum from the Mu family. Have you figured it out? Grandpa Shin put his hands behind his back and nodded. There will be many guests tonight. But I will let you perform tonight. Grandpa, do you really think that Mu Tongxue will not play any tricks? As for what tricks she would play, it would depend on the afternoon. In order not to have too much contact with the Shin family, Mu Qiqi and Grandpa Shin just fished by the fish pond. It was a kind of family reunion. In the afternoon, the guests arrived at the Shin family's house one after another. Soon, the sky started to darken. Soon, the reunion banquet was about to begin. The guests were already full, but no one expected Shang Xiao to rush over from Huangyao. He was still worried about his little one. Young Master Shang is here. Shang Xiao. The guests saw Shang Xiao. But he went straight to the garden to find Grandpa Shin and Mu Qiqi. Chapter 143. Why are you here? Grandpa Shin asked curiously. Aren't you busy in Huangyao today? I have to come and join in the fun. Otherwise, I won't get any benefits after taking care of your granddaughter for so long. Shang Xiao raised his eyebrows. Grandpa Shin looked at the time and nodded. Since all the guests are here, it's time to go. Grandpa Shin did not let Mu Qiqi and Mu Tongxue show up earlier. They were the most important people. Of course, they should only show up at the most crucial moment. Let's go. Grandpa Shin was walking in front, and Shang Xiao was walking behind him. Muchichi was standing next to him. Their arms brushed against each other from time to time. Shang Xiao took the chance to pinch her palm. They looked at each other. Muchichi felt at ease and at ease. Grandpa Shen, Xiao Xiao was here. Xiao Xiao was here. But when they were about to go to the front hall, Mu Tongxue suddenly walked out. She said to Grandpa Shen, "Grandpa, I have something to say to my sister." Grandpa Shen turned around and looked at Muchichi. Muchichi nodded and said, "Grandpa, you can go first. We will come later." They were worried, but Grandpa Shen was more willing to trust Muchichi. Moreover, Muchichi's calm eyes told him that everything was going according to plan, so he did not bother to worry. Tonight was Muchichi's night. Soon, they disappeared from the corridor. Then, Muchichi asked Mu Tongxue, "What do you want to say to me?" Mu Tongxue grabbed Muchichi's arm and begged her, "Sister, it's such an important moment tonight. Can you not talk about our past in front of everyone? What are you afraid of?" Muchichi could not help but ask, "Sister, it's not good for anyone to talk about it. Especially, it will embarrass Grandpa. You don't want him to be laughed at, do you? As long as you behave yourself, I won't do anything stupid." Then, Muchichi shook off Mu Tongxue's arm and walked past her. But just when Muchichi left, Mu Tongxue sneered. "Muchichi, let's see who will win tonight." Muchichi found her way to the front hall. At that moment, Shang Xiao was chatting with his acquaintances. When Grandpa Shen saw her, he quickly said to her, "Chi-Chi, come here. I'll introduce you to uncle and aunt. This is Chi-Chi. What a beautiful girl. I heard that he got into Shangting University. Not bad. I should have brought my son along." The guests praised Muchichi for Grandpa Shen's sake. Grandpa Shen smiled and sighed. "I didn't expect eldest brother to have children, so I don't care about the shame of the family. I want these two children to return to the family. Old chief, let the grudges of the previous generation go with the wind. The child is innocent. Speaking of which, where's your sister?" Grandpa Shen looked around but did not see Mu Tongxue. Then he called for third aunt. "Go and get Tongxue." Third aunt put down the wine glass in her hand and nodded. "Don't worry, father. I'll go now." Muchichi looked at third aunt as she left. She felt that a good show was about to begin. So, she subconsciously looked at Shang Xiao. But he was not in the hall at that moment. After a while, third aunt shouted as she returned to the front hall. She held Mu Tongxue, who was bleeding at the corner of her mouth. "Father, father, what happened?" Grandpa Shen quickly went over and saw Mu Tongxue in a sorry state. The left side of her face was swollen and there were obvious finger marks. She was beaten up. Mu Tongxue lowered her head and cried when she was questioned. "I don't dare to say." "Say it," Grandpa Shen ordered. The guests stopped and looked at Mu Tongxue. At that moment, Mu Tongxue raised her head and looked at Muchichi. "It's my sister." The guests were surprised when they heard the word, sister. "It's my sister who hit me. She didn't want me to appear in front of everyone. She didn't want me to steal her limelight." All of a sudden, all the guests were looking at Muchichi, pointing and whispering. "How can you be so vicious at such a young age? Look at how badly you hit her." "You said that I hit her? Do you have any evidence?" Muchichi asked Mu Tongxue calmly. "I don't have any evidence because you are my sister. Even if I have evidence, I won't go against you. Sister, we are all members of the Shen family. Why do you have to fight with me? I didn't hinder you at all. Look, everyone likes you very much. Why do you want to kill me?" Mu Tongxue questioned Muchichi. She pushed Muchichi to the edge of the storm. However, Muchichi was not anxious. She said calmly, "I didn't hit you. But there were only the two of us just now. You didn't hit me. Did I hit myself? That's ridiculous. Father, when I went to look for Mu Tongxue, I found her unconscious on the ground. I don't know if she has any other injuries on her body. Muchichi is too cruel." Third aunt spoke up for her. "It's my first time seeing such a cruel sister. You can't cover for her. Is there any law in this world? How could she be so cruel to her own sister?" Sister, I really don't want to fight with you. Whether it's the Shin family or Grandpa's love, I have never thought of competing with you. I have already given in. Why are you still so cruel? She's so pitiful. How can there be such a cruel sister? The guests around them had a bad impression of Mu Qiqi. Of course, they felt pity for Mu Tongxue. The Shin family was at a loss. They did not know whether Mu Qiqi was such a cruel person. Father, why don't we let Mu Qiqi go back to her room? There are so many guests. It's not good. I will call the doctor to check on Mu Tongxue. Third aunt suggested. Obviously, she wanted Mu Qiqi to disappear from the banquet. Grandpa Shin nodded. When he was about to say something, Mu Qiqi retorted. Wait, I have something to say. Mu Qiqi, what else do you have to say? She has been beaten up by you. Third aunt snorted. You have to care about the Shun family's reputation. You said that I hit her. So I hit her? Mu Qiqi retorted. Actually, I can leave. But I will leave after Mu Tongxue answers a few questions. What are you trying to say? So many guests saw it. Chapter 144. Seeing that the guests were waiting for an answer, Mu Qiqi pointed at Mu Tongxue and said, Because she is not a Shun at all. Everyone was stunned after hearing Mu Qiqi's words. But third aunt was the first to laugh. Mu Qiqi, even if you want to come up with an excuse, you should come up with a better one. You look so similar to Mu Tongxue. Who would believe that you are not twins? That's right. If you only look at your faces, there is almost no difference. Since you are a Shin, why is Mu Tongxue not? Second aunt asked. I did not say that we are not twins. Sister, there are so many guests here. You don't have to come up with such a joke just to deny it, do you? Mu Tongxue looked at Mu Qiqi coldly. She thought that Mu Qiqi was going to say something shocking. She did not expect that it was just this. It was too funny. Qiqi, explain it clearly. Grandpa Shin was displeased. But he was displeased with third daughter-in-law. Today was supposed to be a great day and I didn't want to tell anyone about it. But I didn't expect that Mu Tongxue would be so cruel to herself just to slander me. If that's the case, why would I care about you getting hurt? Mu Qiqi said calmly. Even though everyone thought that she was joking, she was very confident. She did not treat it as a joke at all. So you are saying that you are a Shun and I am not? That's right. Mu Qiqi looked at Mu Tongxue calmly. Sister, don't you think that you are out of your mind? Do you think I have to lie in front of so many people when the DNA test would have revealed the result? Mu Qiqi asked in return. You might think it's funny, but I don't think it's funny. Don't you think that your temper and character are exactly the same as the Mu family? Mu Tongxue was stunned, because Mu Qiqi mentioned DNA. Alright, even if what you said is true, when did you test my DNA? Why didn't I know about it? It should not take much effort to take a sample of your DNA, right? Mu Qiqi smiled. Then, she saw Jing Yun take out the DNA report from the car and bring it to her. Mu Qiqi held the DNA report in her hand and raised it high. It's easy to know if you are from the Shin family. The DNA report is in my hands. Mu Tongxue started to feel nervous, but she still managed to stay calm. She faced the guests and said loudly, This is ridiculous. We are twins, but you are telling me that you are from the Shun family and I am from the Mu family. Do you mean that we have two fathers? Mu Qiqi, you are really unscrupulous in order to bully me. Mu Qiqi did not want to listen to Mu Tongxue anymore, and so promptly opened the folder and took out the DNA data, holding it up high in front of all the guests. Then she passed the certificate. If you think that I've tampered with the DNA, we can test it again. The guest who received the DNA report read it and passed it to the next person. Then it was passed to the old man. Mu Tongxue saw the change in everyone's expression. She quickly said, Grandpa, do you really believe her nonsense? You will know whether it's nonsense after you read it. Then, Grandpa Shin asked third aunt to pass the DNA report to Mu Tongxue. At the same time, third aunt took the DNA report and read it. Then her expression changed. This is actually real? Mu Tongxue quickly snatched the report and read it. I just got this report. I did not intend to show it in such a situation, but you are too much. I know that you are not from the Shin family. Why should I do anything to you? Isn't it unnecessary? Mu Tongxue could not accept it after she read it. I am from the Shin family. I am. You are not. Even if you do the test 1,000 times or 10,000 times, you will not be from the Shin family. Mu Qiqi told Mu Tongxue with certainty. You are from the Mu family, and you just abandoned your father and grandfather not long ago. It's not like that. You are lying. There must be something wrong with the report. Qiqi, explain it to me. Grandpa Shin ordered Mu Qiqi. Simple. We are fraternal twins. Because we look like our mother, our father's genes are not obvious. So, no one found out that we have different fathers. So, I am from the Shin family, but she is not. Mu Qiqi pointed at Mu Tongxue again. But Mu Tongxue refused to accept it. It's impossible. You must have planned this. I told you. You can do the test now. Since you are not from the Shin family, why should I do anything to you because I am afraid that you will steal the limelight? Huh? Are you worthy? Who do you think you are? Since you are the one who did the DNA test, why can't you fake it? Mu Tongxue did not give up. She became hysterical. Because I am the one who did the DNA test. Jing Yun stood up and walked to Mu Qiqi's side. Sheng Xiao, who was not far away, looked at the two of them and smiled. Do I need to fake it when I am the one who did the DNA test? Moreover, this kind of thing can be verified with just a test. Is there a need to fake it? If Mu Qiqi's words were not convincing enough, then Jing Yun's words had to be taken seriously. Do you think that I, the special assistant of Huang Yao, have a need to slander you? Mu Tongshua's face turned pale. Her hands started shaking. It was like this a year ago. The Mu family chased Miss Mu out of the Mu family. It is still the same a year later. Miss Mu is standing in the hall of the Shin family and slandering the daughter of the Shin family? Who gave you the courage? You what? Mu Qiqi smiled. Do you really think that you are a member of the Shin family? I have never thought of marrying into the Shin family and messing up their lives. But you do not belong to the Shin family. And you never will. Mu Tongxue fell to the ground helplessly. She could not accept it no matter what. It's impossible. I am a member of the Shin family too. Seeing this, third aunt could not help Mu Tongxue at all. After all, Mu Tongxue was not the daughter of the Shin family. She had tried so hard to please Mu Tongxue, but it was all in vain. What a little bitch. Jing Yun, can you explain it clearly? Grandpa Shin was afraid that the others would misunderstand Mu Qiqi. He quickly asked Jing Yun. Jing Yun smiled and nodded. Of course. A year ago, Miss Qiqi was chased out of the Mu family because she was framed for feeding the wrong amount of medicine to her grandmother. I was the one who took her in and became her sponsor. Chapter 145. I arranged a place for Miss Mu to stay in the small mansion, but she would still be framed by Miss Mu from time to time. Miss Mu coveted Miss Mu's outstanding grades, so she simply changed Miss Mu's grades. There are many reports about this on the news, so I won't go into details. Miss Mu kept saying that Miss Mu framed her, but from the Mu family to the Shin family, she was just pretending to be pitiful to gain sympathy. She is really vicious inside. Even if it's tonight, she's still going to be so overbearing and slander Miss Qiqi for attacking her. She did it. It's her. Mu Tongxue sat on the floor and pointed at Mu Qiqi. Since you still want to deny it, fine. I have a video here. I believe everyone will be interested. With that, Jing Yun took out his phone and played the recorded video for everyone to see. Although the picture quality was not very clear, it was still. Everyone could clearly see Mu Tongshue's slaps landing on her own face. Everyone suddenly realized that Mu Tongxue must have used up all her strength to frame Mu Qiqi. At first, I didn't want to expose you because you are just an 18-year-old child. But now that things have come to this, I don't think there is anything to hide anymore. Mu Qiqi looked at Sheng Xiao by instinct. He was not around just now. Could it be that he went out because of the video? All right. Grandpa Shin felt that it was enough when he heard that. So he said, the truth is clear. Let's not talk about their identities first. Mu Tongxue framed Mu Qiqi. The evidence is conclusive. Now let's talk about their identities. Mu Chichi is a Shun. That is indisputable. But Miss Mu, Grandpa, I am a Shun. I am a Shin. Mu Tongxue quickly went up and tried to hug Grandpa Shin's leg. But Grandpa Shin kicked her away. When you first came to the Shin family, I was very curious about who you are like. But I couldn't find the answer. And during the time you entered the Shin family, you were repeatedly called to the police station. Because of your mother's death, you were subjected to a lot of investigations and were accused by your father. At that time, I didn't think much of it. The Mu family said that you were the mastermind of the fire. I didn't believe them because I thought that an 18-year-old child couldn't be so evil. But now, I'm starting to believe it. What did Chi-Chi do to you that you would frame her like this? Mu Tongxue was sprawled on the ground, allowing the others to laugh at her. Oh my God! How cruel is this girl to kill her grandmother, frame her sister, and plot against her own mother? That's right. Isn't such a person a little too terrifying? Hearing the discussions around her, Mu Tongxue struggled and finally stood up. She looked at Third Aunt with hope in her eyes. Third Aunt, say something for me. Say something for me. I never thought that you are not a member of the Shin family. It was obvious that Third Aunt retreated. Am I worthless just because I am not a member of the Shin family? Mu Tongxue retorted. Can you trample on me just because I am not a member of the Shin family? But Third Aunt ignored her. She walked up to Mu Chi-Chi and said apologetically, Chi-Chi, I'm sorry. I didn't get it right. It's all because of this little girl. Please don't take it to heart. Didn't Third Aunt say that I was being ridiculous just now? Mu Chi-Chi did not appreciate it. I'm just being silly. You are not silly. You are smarter than anyone else. You know that I am not easy to control, so you tried to suck up to Mu Tongxue. It's because you never thought that Mu Tongxue is not a member of the Shin family. Mu Chi-Chi smiled at Third Aunt. Am I right? Humph. Second Aunt sneered when she saw that. Since this girl is not a member of the Shin family, there is no need to keep her in the Shin family. After all, this night belongs to Chi-Chi. I'm afraid that the others who are not involved will be kicked out. Mu Tongxue quickly waved her hand when she heard what Second Aunt said. Don't kick me out. I have nowhere to go. But you are not a member of the Shin family. Mu Tongxue panicked. She quickly knelt down in front of Mu Chi-Chi. Sister, please beg everyone. Please let me stay. I don't want to go out and suffer. I have nothing now. Mu Chi-Chi stood still. After a while, she lowered her head and said to Mu Tongxue, You are not a member of the Shin family. Just treat me as one. I can be a servant. As long as you let me stay, I can do anything. Instead of begging me here, why don't you go back and beg Grandpa Mu? Maybe he will take you in because you are related by blood. Mu Chi-Chi pinched her chin and said coldly, Mu Tongxue, everything that happened today is your own doing. You can't blame anyone. Although the law will not let you be responsible for Mommy's death, you will have to pay for what you did today. Of course, Mu Chi-Chi whispered the last sentence into Mu Tongxue's ear, so no one could hear her. Throw her out. Grandpa Shin could not stand Mu Tongxue's drama anymore, so he gave the order to the Shins. The Shins were happy to see it happen, especially Second Aunt. Mu Tongxue had been so arrogant for so many days. Now, it turned out that she was not a member of the Shin family. She felt embarrassed for her. However, what was even funnier was that her third sister-in-law had fawned over the wrong person. It was the biggest joke in the world, and she was on Mu Chi-Chi's side for that reason alone. He had actually helped her get rid of such a huge resentment. It was simply delightful. Don't touch me. Mu Tongxue was still struggling. Sister, I was wrong. I was really wrong. Please forgive me. Not only that, Mu Tongxue kept kowtowing to Mu Chi-Chi. Don't try to hurt yourself in front of me. You should know that even if you die here, I will not feel sad for you. Mu Tongxue stopped when she heard that. Then, she staggered and stood up. Chapter 146. Chi-Chi, there are many guests today. Don't overdo it. Grandpa Shin reminded Mu Chi-Chi. He did not want her to be too ruthless and cause misunderstandings. Grandpa, Mu Tongxue has admitted that she slandered me for killing Grandma. It's a human life. Mu Qiqi raised her head and looked at Grandpa Shin in a neither servile nor overbearing manner. She said, "It's understandable that she wants to curry favor with someone powerful and join a prestigious family. She's framing others and scheming against others. She's not vicious. What's truly vicious is that she killed her own mother with her own hands. I'm sorry. I might not be able to leave a good impression on the Shin family," Mu Qiqi said to Grandpa Shin. She was also talking to Shang Xiao. Grandpa Shin looked at Mu Qiqi with a complicated expression. He did not expect that Mu Qiqi hated Mu Tongxue so much. "What do you want?" "I want to bring her somewhere, so I might have to let everyone down. I also feel sorry for the guests." Mu Qiqi bowed deeply to everyone. Grandpa Shin thought for a few seconds. Then he said, "Go. We are the Shin family. We should settle our grudges." Mu Qiqi got his permission. Then, she dragged Mu Tongxue out of the living room. Shang Xiao glanced at Jing Yun and signaled him to follow them. Mu Tongxue kept struggling, but she was used to being weak, so she could not get rid of Mu Qiqi's control. Mu Qiqi brought her to the car. Jing Yun followed behind and started the car. The noisy living room suddenly became quiet. Some people understood what was going on while others didn't understand what was going on. Third Aunt sneered. She looked at Grandpa Shin and said, "Father, stop pretending. You knew about this long ago, didn't you?" Grandpa Shin looked at his daughter-in-law. He did not say anything. "You lied to all of us just to let Mu Qiqi marry into the Shin family, right? And you played me like a fool. Speaking of playing you knew that Mu Tongxue slandered Mu Qiqi, but you played along with that impostor. Do you think I don't know?" The old man was enraged by the interrogation, and he also burned this ball of fire. "If your heart is good, who would dare to trick you? Why didn't second brother come to me?" Third Aunt was stunned for a moment. Her eyes turned red and she was ashamed. "Although Qiqi is not here, she is the blood of the Shin family. She is my granddaughter. If it wasn't for your pride, would I have to do this? If I want to recognize my granddaughter, do I need your permission? You have the nerve to question me? Second brother, send the guests home. I'll consider today's ceremony a success." With that, the old man turned and left. Naturally, the old man took a look at where Shang Xiao had been before he left, but he was gone in the blink of an eye. Third Aunt felt wronged. She ignored everyone's advice and went back to her room. Second Aunt laughed. "I thought I found an ally, but it turns out to be a fake." Second Elder leaned on his wife's arm and gestured for her to look at Rong Juanhan's direction. "What happened?" "I hope you won't think too much about it," said Second Uncle. Mu Qiqi was able to expose Mu Tongxue on such an occasion. Although Mu Tongxue was the one who set her up, the fact that she could easily produce the DNA report showed that Mu Qiqi had already planned to do so. And Grandpa Shin must have acquiesced to it. Didn't Grandpa Sheng think about how people would talk about Zhenchuan when he did that? Mu Qiqi and Mu Tongxue were twins, but they did not have the same father. How would people talk about it? How would they see Shin Zhenchuan? Grandpa Shin was a thoughtful person. It was impossible that he did not think about it. But he still let Mu Qiqi announce it. It showed how much Grandpa Shin cared about his granddaughter. Mu Qiqi was taken care of. But what about her? What would the people outside think of her? How silly she was. "Eldest sister, are you okay?" Second Aunt was worried when she saw Rong Junhan in a daze. Rong Junhan shook her head. Then, she said something that made all the Shins sad. "Father's arrangement today has made me realize how much I've worked for over 10 years. Now I know how much I've gotten in return. Eldest sister, if you still have a conscience, promise me that you will never acknowledge Mu Qiqi's identity in this life." Second Aunt saw Rong Junhan's angry expression. She quickly said, "We will do what you want. Don't worry. Don't be nice to her. We promise you. Remember what you said today." Then, Rong Junhan stood up and left the Shin family. Second Elder sighed deeply. From now on, the Shin family will not have peace. Eldest sister will not allow us to acknowledge Mu Chi-Chi's identity. But father, we are indebted to eldest sister-in-law, and we have been friends for so many years. So we should stand by eldest sister-in-law's side. Otherwise, wouldn't eldest sister-in-law be too pitiful? Second elder Shin said to his wife. You are right. As for third aunt, she would never forget the humiliation she had suffered because of Mu Chi-Chi. Of course, it was also because Mu Chi-Chi never thought of marrying into the Shin family. She never thought of getting along well with the Shin family. Where are you taking me? Mu Tongxue was panicking when she saw that they were getting further away. Mu Chi-Chi, you are embarrassing the Shin family by doing this. But Mu Chi-Chi did not care. You don't have to worry about me. Sister, I am already so pitiful. What else do you want me to do? Did you come to see mommy after she died? Mu Chi-Chi turned around and asked Mu Tongxue. Mu Tongxue was stunned. I have dreamt of mommy a few times. She was covered in charcoal. She stood in front of me and asked me to forgive you. Mu Tongxue felt a chill down her spine. Go and see mommy. Then go back to the Mu family and be the daughter of the Mu family again. Mu Tongshua's forehead was sweating when she saw that the surroundings were getting darker and there were fewer people around. But Mu Chi-Chi pretended that she did not see anything. Until Jing Yun drove the car into the cemetery. Mu Chi-Chi got out of the car and dragged Mu Tongxue to her mother's grave. When they reached the tombstone, Mu Chi-Chi asked, Aren't you going to kneel? Mu Tongxue had no choice but to kneel. If she had lost all her humanity, then Mama Mu's death was the only shadow in her heart, especially when she saw Mama Mu's photo. She remembered how she looked before she died. Mu Tongxue knelt on the ground with a thud. She could not stop her tears from flowing. Chapter 147. Mu Chi-Chi and Jing Yun left the graveyard. But they left Mu Tongxue alone in the wilderness. She knelt in front of the tombstone and cried. She did not know when Mu Chi-Chi and Jing Yun left her. Mu Tongxue turned around and saw no one behind her. Then, she saw the picture on Mother Mu's tombstone. She was scared out of her wits. She quickly ran towards the entrance of the graveyard. But the iron gate was locked. Open the gate! Open the gate! There was nothing more chilling than standing in front of the tombstone of the person you had killed. Mu Tongxue thought of making a phone call. She took out her phone and opened her address book. But who else could she contact now? After all, she was still a member of the Mu family. So, she called Grandpa Mu shamelessly. Grandpa Mu had heard the news about the Shin family from someone else. So, he had expected that Mu Tongxue would call him. So, he did not answer the call on purpose. He did not answer it until Mu Tongxue had 10 missed calls. Then, he picked up the call calmly. Grandpa? I'm Schwer. Mu Tongxue choked when Grandpa Mu picked up the call. She could not even speak clearly. What's the matter? Grandpa Mu pretended to be distant. Grandpa, can you come and save me? I'm alone in the graveyard. I'm scared, but I'm going to sleep, Grandpa Mu said. Grandpa, I'm a member of the Mu family. I'm your granddaughter. I haven't forgotten how you humiliated me when you thought you were a member of the Shin family. Miss Shin, you should call the Shin family. I'm not as rich and powerful as the Shin family. I can't save you, Grandpa Mu said calmly. Grandpa, I know it's my fault. I'm too naive. I shouldn't have treated you like that. But I didn't mean it. I've been chased out of the Shin family. I'm penniless and locked in the graveyard. I'm really scared. Your father is still alive even though he's locked up in prison. You're just locked up in a cemetery. What's there to be afraid of? Grandpa, I'm begging you. Please save me. Grandpa Mu nodded and said, Okay. You agree? Mu Tongxue was crying tears of joy. She suddenly felt that the graveyard wasn't as scary as before. Just wait. After that, Grandpa Mu hung up the phone. Then, he turned off the lights and closed his eyes to sleep. As for Mu Tongxue, she took Grandpa Mu's words seriously. She really thought that the Mu family would come looking for her. But an hour had passed, and there was no movement outside the iron gate. She was filled with hope. But Grandpa Mu made her feel hopeless. After leaving the cemetery, Mu Qiqi returned to the gates of the Shun's residence. Sheng Zhao's car was still parked there. Mu Qiqi anxiously got down from Jingyun's car and opened his door, apologizing. "Xiao Xiao? Have you vented your anger?" Sheng Xiao asked, holding his chin. His expression was a little complicated, which made her heart pound. "Are you angry? Little one, you're not as obedient as you think." Sheng Xiao replied, "I know that I made you and Grandpa very sad tonight. What if I tell you that what you did is not good for our relationship?" Mu Qiqi was stunned. But after a few seconds, she said, "You never put your hope on this kind of thing, because you like to come up with strategies. Besides, I would rather die than leave you. Who can separate us?" When Sheng Xiao heard this, he pinched Mu Qiqi's chin and smiled wickedly. "Congratulations on your realization. Aren't you angry? You've vented your anger. Why should I be angry?" Sheng Xiao let go of her chin and gestured for her to get down from the car. "The Shen family is just a testing ground. I've told you before that you don't need to please anyone. Besides, do you really think that the Shen family will accept you so easily? That's true. They might hate me now." "How did you deal with Mu Tongxue?" "I locked her in the graveyard. Let her repent in front of Mommy's grave." Mu Qiqi replied, "She can call for help." "Xiao Xiao, the Mu family won't care about her." Mu Qiqi replied seriously, "You have to know how heartless she was to Grandpa when she thought she was a member of the Shen family. She deserved it. Tonight, Mu Tongxue would wish she was dead. She would be scared half to death, and most importantly, what would Mu Tongxue rely on to live from now on? That was Mu Tongshue's greatest fear. Let's go in and meet Grandpa Sheng. After all, he was willing to let others criticize him because of you. He has done his best." Mu Qiqi nodded. Her eyes were red. "I know. I've made things difficult for him tonight. You don't have to take it to heart. Do you think he isn't mentally prepared for this? Let's go in. I might have a way." Mu Qiqi replied. Sheng Xiao stroked Mu Qiqi's head. The little girl seemed to have grown up all of a sudden. She had begun to think independently. Sheng Xiao's heart began to throb. Mu Qiqi's uncontrollable behavior seemed to attract him even more, tugging at his every nerve. "What's wrong?" Mu Qiqi quickly asked when she saw Sheng Xiao not moving. "I'm thinking about what will happen to me if you leave me one day." Sheng Xiao replied, "What will happen? You won't have the chance to leave me. On the other hand, if you have me, you will have the whole world." Then, Sheng Xiao got out of the car. Mu Qiqi followed suit. Who could deny that? She would never leave Sheng Xiao, even if there was seniority and her family stopping her. So what? Grandpa Shen never thought that the two of them would come back. He smiled when he saw Mu Qiqi's guilty look. "What's wrong? Do you know that you have lost your sense of propriety?" "Grandpa, I'm sorry. I've made a mess of the Shen family." "Do you think Grandpa cares about that? This is not the only ridiculous thing eldest brother has done. I'm used to it. But even so, I still love him the most. Do you know why?" Grandpa Shen asked Mu Qiqi in return. "Because he understands me the best." "Qiqi, I hope that you can understand the old man's heart too. Grandpa, I hope you won't disappoint me." However, she was destined to disappoint Grandpa Shen when she was with Sheng Xiao. Just like Su Zipei, she could do anything for Grandpa Shen. She could fight for any honor for him. But she could not leave Sheng Xiao. She could not do that. As for your uncles, they will like you slowly. So, I hope you can come back to the Shen family once a week. Can you do that? Grandpa, I'll try my best. But I have my own life. Mu Qiqi did not promise him everything. Okay. Grandpa Shen nodded. You are just like your father. Although you are a troublemaker, you have your own way of living. The daughter of the Shen family should have a unique charm. The few of them were chatting in the study when second aunt knocked on their door with her phone. She sounded very anxious. Dad, hurry up and open the door. It's urgent. What's the matter? Grandpa Shen shouted at the door. Chapter 148. He's awake. Grandpa Shen's hands were trembling. Let's go now. Alright, Jinyun and I will go there immediately. After that, second aunt's footsteps faded away. Mu Chichi was still having mixed feelings at that moment. Chichi, let's go together. Mu Chichi shook her head and said to Grandpa Shin, Aunt Rong doesn't like me. I will go another day. The situation is too complicated today. When old Master Shin heard that, he did not know what was going on in the hospital. He did not know if Shin Jianchuan could take it, so he nodded. Alright, I'll tell you after I go and take a look. You're tired today. Go back and rest. Mu Chichi nodded and exchanged looks with Shang Xiao. Grandpa Shin's mind was on Shin Jianchuan. He did not notice the expressions on Mu Chichi and Shang Xiao's faces. The three of them left the Shin family together. But Grandpa Shin was in a hurry to see his son. On the way back, Mu Chichi was silent. She did not know how to accept what had happened. It's too much of a coincidence. Shang Xiao murmured when he saw Mu Chichi not saying anything. What's too much of a coincidence? Nothing. Let's go to the villa first. I don't want Aunt Rong to worry. Shang Xiao told Mu Chichi that it was too much of a coincidence. He was referring to the time when Shin Jianchuan woke up. It was too much of a coincidence. It had been more than 10 years and there was no sign of him waking up. But he woke up on the day when Mu Chichi returned to the Shin family. Xiao Xiao, I want to go home. Mu Chichi grabbed Sheng Xiao's arm and begged. Sheng Xiao glanced at her. Then he turned around and drove to the new house. He called Su Zipei when he reached home. Su Zipei asked Sheng Xiao to take good care of Mu Chichi. She was not at home now. She was at Lu Wenhua's apartment. Sheng Xiao put his phone away. Then he put his arm around Mu Chichi's neck and brought her into the house. Mu Chichi hugged Sheng Xiao's arm, unwilling to let go, because she felt that this was the warmest harbor for her. I'm very confused after this incident. I don't know if I should step into the mire of the Shin family. But that's my biological father. It's not easy for him to survive. I don't want him to ostracize me like the others in the Shin family. That's right. Mu Chichi was behaving like that because Mama Mu's death was a huge blow to her. Seeing the people closest to her being burned into charcoal with her own eyes, of course she felt terrible. Sheng Xiao had his arm around Mu Chichi's neck. At this moment, he raised his hand and pinched her chin. He twisted her chin and made her face him. Even if the Shin family doesn't accept her now, it's just a matter of time. But now that my father is awake, he will marry Auntie Rong sooner or later. When that time comes, my identity will be even more awkward. What are you afraid of? Is there anything scarier than making our relationship public? Shang Xiao laughed wantonly with a hint of playfulness. Cheer, you know that I'm here for everything. This is the first time you've called me that. Mu Chichi's chest swelled and she threw herself into his arms. I like it when you call me that. Shang Xiao hugged her and comforted the person in his arms. He cupped her cheek and kissed her at the right time. He also sucked on her sensitive earlobe, the earlobe with his name tattooed on it. Don't be like this. What else? Shang Xiao blew into her ear in a sexy manner. Mu Chichi's body went soft. She could only surrender. Soon, Shang Xiao brought Mu Chichi to the big bed that belonged to the two of them. He put Mu Chichi down and took off his clothes. Then, he threw them in the middle of the room. But when it came to Mu Chichi, he grabbed Mu Chichi's black dress and tore it from the center. I like this dress very much. Mu Chichi quickly protested. But without the cover of the dress, her mature body looked beautiful and attractive. Then who do you like, me or the dress? Was there a need to ask? Mu Chichi pouted. But Shang Xiao sucked her in instantly. His warm hands passed through her body, leaving behind a series of sparks, making her feel empty. Shang Xiao lowered his head and looked at her blushing face. He chuckled and lifted her chin. Let's let your father know what we're doing now. I wonder how he'll react. Mu Chichi's face turned red. There was a hint of shock in Mu Chichi's eyes at once. But Shang Xiao did not wait for her reaction. He penetrated her directly. Even so, you're the only one I've chosen in this life. No one can stop me. Mu Chichi's heart sank again. She was the one who started the relationship between her and Shang Xiao, and she would never be the one to give up on Shang Xiao. Xiao Xiao, Xiao Xiao. It was an intense affair. It ended amidst the sweat and moans. At that moment, Mu Qiqi did not have the energy to think about the Shen family or Shen Jianchuan anymore. Just like what Shang Xiao said, she would deal with whatever came her way. Maybe Rong Junhan had the support of the Shen family, but she had Shang Xiao and Grandpa. On the other hand, Mu Tongxue stayed in the cemetery for the whole night. The next morning, someone went in and saw her fainted in the cemetery. Then she was sent to the hospital. But at that moment, Mu Tongxue was not sure if she was too frightened. She fell down. There was a cut on her forehead by a tree branch. Her bones were almost exposed. The stitches would leave a permanent scar on her forehead, and she would never be able to recover unless she kept covering it with her bangs. When she woke up in the hospital, Mu Tongxue was completely lifeless. She just kept her eyes open. She did not know where to go. She did not know what was the meaning of living. Compared to Mu Qiqi's ruthlessness, Grandpa Mu's heartlessness made her completely give up. He gave her hope and made her despair. Perhaps she would never be able to win against Mu Qiqi in this life. She had never won against Mu Qiqi before. It would be even more impossible in the future. And now there was a scar on her forehead. On the other hand, Grandpa Shen and the others were still guarding at the hospital. Shen Jianchuan fell asleep again after he woke up last night. So, Grandpa Shen did not get to see his son. So, he stayed at the hospital until 8 o'clock in the morning. Shen Jianchuan opened his eyes. He saw Grandpa Shen looking at him anxiously. He wanted to say something, but he could not. He only breathed weakly. "Dad?" Grandpa Sheng wiped his tears and patted him on the arm. "It's good that you're awake. It's good that you're awake. Rest well. Don't waste your energy." The doctor said that although you're awake, your body may need a long period of rehabilitation to fully recover. Chapter 149. That's right. Eldest brother, you must get well soon. You still owe eldest sister a wedding. Second elder said to Shen Jianchuan. Shen Jianchuan looked at Rong Junhan and said weakly, "Excellent," but he could not say the word suffering because he had been in a coma for a long time. His body still needed a long time to recover. "It's good that you are awake." No one mentioned that he had a daughter, because they knew that it was not appropriate to talk about it at this moment. But second aunt was still afraid that Grandpa Shen would say it. So, she dragged him out of the ward and said, "Father, the doctor said that eldest brother has been in a coma for a long time. He needs to rest and recover. He should not be agitated. So, we don't want to tell eldest brother that Mu Qiqi is his daughter. We will tell him when he is feeling better." Grandpa Shang looked at his second daughter-in-law deeply, as if he knew what she was planning. "Is it that good for you to stop Mu Qiqi from marrying into the Shen family?" "That's what the doctor said." Second aunt insisted. Grandpa Shen did not answer her, but he did not deny it either. He had his own plan, because he did not think that it was agitating for eldest sister. But now that eldest sister had woken up, the marriage with the Rong family must go ahead. Wouldn't it be more difficult for Mu Qiqi if Rong Junhan married into the Shen family? Grandpa Shen did not want to do that. Why couldn't the granddaughter of the Shen family marry into the Shen family? Mu Qiqi hid in the new house for the whole night. When she woke up in the morning, her mind was much clearer. No matter what was happening in the Shen family, she only had one goal. That was to be with Shang Xiao. Since she was so determined, why should she be afraid of the Shen family? Moreover, he was her biological father. She did not believe that Shen Jianchuan would humiliate his daughter like Papa Mu. So, she went back to the villa early in the morning. "How is it, Qiqi?" "Don't worry, Aunt Zipei. Mu Tongxue will never be able to make a comeback. Her identity was exposed in public yesterday," Mu Qiqi replied. "I locked her in front of Mommy's grave last night. I don't know if she is still alive or not. She deserves it. I'm just worried about your relationship with the Shen family. And how can the Shen family accept me so easily? I never have such a dream, but there's something I need to tell you." "What?" Su Zipei looked at Mu Qiqi seriously. "Eldest young Master Shen, wake up. Su Zipei understood what Mu Chichi meant. I didn't expect that young Master Shin could wake up. You have a father now. But I'm afraid that Rong Junhan will not be easy to deal with. Your mother used to be the obstacle between her and young Master Shin. Now that you are involved, she will not tolerate you. Aunt, don't worry too much. I have Xiao Xiao. Mu Chichi held Su Zipei's hands and comforted her. Now you should go and enjoy your life with Uncle Lu. I won't have much time to spend with you after school starts. Now that you've married into the Shin family, as your aunt, I can't embarrass you. So, I've signed up for a lot of hobbies. I don't care if I'm not interested in finance or shares, but I have to understand them. Otherwise, people will laugh at me when I go out to socialize. A woman's greatest wealth was actually self-improvement. Alright, then we'll work hard together. Aunt, after I'm gone, please keep an eye on Mu Tongxue. You can't let her die. Don't worry. Su Zipei patted Mu Chichi's head. Take good care of yourself when you go out for the military training. Okay. Mu Chichi packed up her things and went back to the new house. Although Sheng Xiao would not be at home during the day, she felt more at ease staying in their little home. Everything in this villa was good, but there were no photos of the two of them. Although there was the smell of the two of them living everywhere, she still felt that it was not like a home. After that, Mu Chichi packed up her clothes. Grandpa Shin called her. Xiaoqi, when are you going for the military training? Tomorrow morning. Listen to my arrangements. Come and meet your father tonight. At least, let him know that he has a daughter. Since it was arranged at night, it meant that the Shin family did not agree to it. So, Grandpa Shin planned to arrange the meeting between Mu Chichi and Shin Jianchuan behind everyone's back. Grandpa, we still have a chance in the future. Some things should be done as soon as possible. Grandpa Shin was anxious. After all, Rong Junhan was the one taking care of Shin Jianchuan most of the time when he woke up. Alright. Mu Chichi nodded, because she wanted to give herself hope. Then I'll call you tonight. After that, Grandpa Shin hung up the phone. Mu Chichi was deep in thought. Then she texted Shang Xiao. Grandpa asked me to go to the hospital tonight. Secretly meet your father? Yes, because the Shin family might not be happy about it. Do you need to care about their feelings? Shang Xiao asked. Just go if you want to. Don't worry about the time. You are Brother Shin's biological daughter. Will Rong Junhan stop you? But you can't please this person, Sheng Xiao said. Then he asked Mu Chichi, do you want to go? Yes. After all, he was her biological father. He was afraid that Rong Junhan would be the second Mu Tongxue. So, she would talk bad about her before Shin Jianchuan even met her. Then just go. You are my daughter. Why should I be afraid? You don't have anything to do with the Shin family. So, you don't have to be afraid. Go. I'll come and pick you up after I'm done with my work. You will go to the military training tomorrow. I'll bring you out for a feast tonight. Okay. Mu Chichi thought about it. Xiao Xiao was right. Her uncles were trying to stop her. But she did not need to be afraid. So, she called Grandpa Shin. Grandpa, I'm coming now. Okay, I'll arrange it. Grandpa Shin agreed. After the call, Grandpa Shin went back to the ward. He sat beside Shin Jianchuan. He grabbed his eldest son's hand and asked, Eldest son, do you know that you have a daughter? Father, are you confused? What are you talking about? Second aunt was stunned. She quickly stopped Grandpa Shin, because her main purpose of staying in the hospital was to prevent Grandpa Shin from telling others about it. But Grandpa Shin looked at her coldly. Why don't you change your surname to Rong? What do you think? Father, didn't we agree? I didn't agree with you too. I just want to tell eldest son about it. Do you know that you have a daughter? Shin Jianchuan was stunned. He shook his head. Su Ziqing is your daughter. She has been raised by the Mu family for 18 years. But your brothers are afraid that your sister-in-law will be unhappy. So they did not want to tell you about it. Chapter 150. Shin Jianchuan was as thin as a stick. When he woke up, only his eyes were full of life. He could not express his feelings after hearing what Grandpa Shin said. but he nodded his head. He had been sleeping alone for more than 10 years. He had spent the best part of his youth on the bed. He had missed so many things, but he still had a daughter. That was the only comfort he had. How could he not want to see her? Grandpa Shin knew that he wanted to see her. He patted his knee and nodded. I will let you see her later. Father. Second aunt was very worried. She called Rong Junhan while they were talking. Rong Junhan knew that she could not stop Grandpa Shin. After all, she was Shin Jianchuan's daughter. What she needed to do now was not to stop him but to register their marriage as soon as possible. Huang Yu, Mu Qiqi is Jianchuan's daughter. He has the right to know about this. Won't you feel wronged? Second aunt was helpless. Jianchuan has woken up. Then I will not feel wronged anymore. Rong Junhan's words would only make the Shun family sympathize with her more. So, they would try their best to stop Mu Qiqi from marrying into the Shun family. Rong Junhan knew that would happen. But she still wanted to go to the hospital to see Mu Qiqi meet Shin Jianchuan. Only then she would feel relieved. When she married into the Shun family, she would control her daughter. Then she would have the right to do so. Mu Qiqi wanted to meet Shin Jianchuan. So, Shang Xiao asked Old Lin to send Mu Qiqi and Su Zipei to the hospital. Su Zipei was worried that Mu Qiqi would be bullied. But Mu Qiqi patted her hand and said, Aunt, don't worry. I am not the old Mu Qiqi now. I will not let anyone bully me. Su Zipei was still worried. But she did not stop Mu Qiqi. The two of them arrived at the hospital together. Mu Qiqi managed to find Shin Jianchuan's ward from the front desk. But when she entered the elevator, she bumped into Rong Junhan. Mu Qiqi was stunned. But she still entered the elevator with Su Zipei. Aunt Rong, didn't you say that you will not return to the Shin family? Now that Jianchuan has just woken up. He's in a hurry to visit him. Then the elevator reached the 9th floor. Rong Junhan walked out of the elevator first, followed by Mu Qiqi and Su Zipei. Second aunt was at the door of the ward. When she saw Rong Junhan, she went up to her immediately. Sister-in-law. Mu Qiqi was right behind them, but Huang Yu stopped her. Qiqi, you can go in later. Why? Mu Qiqi asked second aunt. Huang Yu was afraid that Grandpa Shang would hear them, so she quickly pulled Mu Qiqi to the side and explained to her. Actually, the doctor said that your father has just woken up and needs to rest. He can't be too agitated. So, can you come over another day? When your father feels better. Mu Qiqi looked at Huang Yu with deep eyes and a smile. Second aunt is not like third aunt. When you tell such a lie, your expression is unnatural. Huang Yu was stunned. I know that you are fighting for Auntie Rong, but as an elder, is it right for you to make things difficult for a junior? Moreover, this is my family's matter. It has nothing to do with you. But sister-in-law has worked hard for the Shin family all these years. If it were you, what would you do? You can go ahead. I will go in. Mu Qiqi pushed second aunt's arm away. Second aunt, please know your place. Shin Jianchuan is my father. It's only right for a daughter to visit her father. But he doesn't want to see you? Really? Mu Qiqi sneered. She wanted to force her way in. Whether he wants to see me or not, he will know after he goes in. You can't go in. Mu Qiqi knew that Huang Yu was purposely making things difficult for her, so she did not want to give her face. She took out the recording pen that Shang Xiao gave her. I don't want to make things difficult for you. Don't make things difficult for me too. If Grandpa hears this recording, how would he feel? Huang Yu's expression changed, but she did not think that she had done anything wrong. You have your position and I have mine. But I don't feel sorry for you. Then, let Grandpa listen to it. You. Mu Qiqi snorted and put away the recording pen. When she entered the ward, she turned around and said to Huang Yu, I have always been in awe of the Shin family. After all, it is an aristocratic family. But after seeing you and third aunt, I only have one sentence to say to you. You are nothing more than this. Huang Yu could not stop her. She could only watch Mu Qiqi push the door open. When Grandpa Shin saw his granddaughter, he quickly got up and pulled her to Shin Jianchuan. As if presenting a treasure, he said, Look, it's your daughter. Mu Chichi looked at the weak man on the bed. The man was very excited. He wanted to raise his hand, but his muscles did not listen to him. Mu Chichi sat down in front of Shin Jianchuan and held his trembling hands. It was the second time they met, but blood was thicker than water. She could feel Shin Jianchuan's excitement. I don't know what to say. I just hope that you will get better soon. Then you will know what happened recently. Shin Jianchuan looked at Mu Chichi and blinked. Don't worry. If you want to see me, just tell Grandpa. He will call me. Shin Jianchuan blinked again. There was even a tear at the corner of his eye. Mu Chichi wiped it away for him. Then, she smiled and said, I am studying forensic science in Enchanting University. You can come and find me when you get better. It takes 5 years to study forensic science. Shin Jianchuan wanted to say something, but he could not. He wanted to touch his daughter more. After all, Mu Chichi and Su Ziqing were very similar. But his hands were trembling. He could not control his muscles. I will go for military training tomorrow. I will come and see you when I am free. You must be able to speak by then. Okay? Shin Jianchuan nodded. He nodded many times. He was not so excited even when he saw Grandpa Shin and Rong Junhan when he woke up. Grandpa Shin was very happy. Although his son had been asleep for so many years, the heavens still gave him a daughter. When he heard that he had a daughter, Grandpa Shin could feel that his eldest son's heart was suddenly revived. Although he didn't want to admit it, he knew that his son's favorite woman was still Su Ziqing. This made Rong Junhan even more jealous. After all, she was the one who took care of Shin Jianchuan for the past 10 years. But now, Shin Jianchuan did not even look at her when he had a daughter. How could she be satisfied? Chapter 151. Grandpa, I need to pack my luggage later. I'm leaving now. Shin Jianchuan grabbed Mu Chichi's hand. He was reluctant to let her go. But Mu Chichi winked at him, indicating that she would come again when she had time. Shin Jianchuan let go of her hand. Let's go. I'll send you out. It's okay. I'm outside. Mu Chichi got up and glanced at Shin Jianchuan. Then, she left her father's ward. Outside the ward, Su Zipei and Huang Yu seemed to have talked to each other. Both of them looked strange. But Mu Chichi did not ask. And, let's go. Did you see him? Su Zipei asked. Yes. Mu Chichi nodded. She deliberately raised her voice. Dad is very happy to see me. He hopes that I can come and see him often. Humph. Huang Yu snorted. That's good. Let's go home. We have to wake up early tomorrow. They walked out of the hospital together. But Mu Chichi had already received a message from Shang Xiao. He would be at the hospital soon. And you and Uncle Lin can leave first. Xiao Xiao will come and pick me up. Okay, take care of yourself. As long as Shang Xiao was there, Su Zipei would be at ease. Because he would take good care of Mu Chichi. He would never let Mu Chichi be bullied. Mu Chichi watched Su Zipei leave. Then, she found a secluded place and waited for Shang Xiao. A moment later, a black Maybach stopped in front of Mu Chichi. Mu Chichi opened the door and got in. She saw Shang Xiao wearing sunglasses. His handsome face was mesmerizing. Why did you change your car again? Shang Xiao actually liked yellow sports cars. But he had not driven such an eye-catching car for a long time because he wanted to date her. Did you see Dad? Shang Xiao asked. Yes. Mu Chichi nodded. I think he will be a good father. But I was stopped by second aunt at the door just now. Aunt Rong obviously doesn't like me. Your father is not someone who can be tricked easily. He used to be like me. Shang Xiao answered Mu Chichi while driving. He is also a passionate man. He will not be influenced by women. So you don't have to worry. But he can't move right now. Little one, this is how you can tell right from wrong. Shang Xiao pointed at his own head. And one more thing, Mu Tongshuer is gone. How so? They're either dead or hidden. Shang Xiao brought her to the revolving restaurant they used to go to because it was the only place that was absolutely hidden. Mu Chichi liked it too. The night view at night was not bad. Isn't it obvious that even you can't find it? But it can't be the Mu family. That's interesting. Sheng Xiao led Mu Qiqi out of the car. The two of them hugged each other like a couple in love. Soon, the two of them entered the private room. The first thing Sheng Xiao did was to hold Mu Qiqi on his thighs. Lifting her chin, he asked, "You're going to leave for a week. How are you going to compensate me?" "I will miss you very much, even in my dreams," Mu Qiqi quickly said. "We haven't been apart for more than a year. That's why I won't be used to leaving you. Xiao Xiao." Mu Qiqi's last word was filled with endless grievance and coquettishness. Sheng Xiao enjoyed it very much. Military training is in a place full of male hormones. Mu Qiqi said nothing. She simply unbuttoned Sheng Xiao's shirt and licked his collarbone with her tongue. Sheng Xiao's entire body tensed. He almost couldn't hold back and pressed her down on the table, although he had done that before. "No matter where I am, you will know what I'm doing and who I'm in contact with, won't you?" Sheng Xiao grabbed Mu Qiqi's neck and looked at her with a sharp gaze. "You're mine. You're mine too. Mine alone. You can't get too close to those female celebrities when you attend events in the future. Not even if you're just fooling around." Sheng Xiao smiled playfully. His heart was filled with sweetness. The little one was finally not being so careful with him. She knew to make demands of him. He believed that the relationship between a man and a woman must be equal. He could give Mu Qiqi time to grow up, but he also hoped that Mu Qiqi could give him a sense of security when it came to love. And her control was the sense of security that he recognized. Only then could he feel the strong feelings in Mu Qiqi's heart. And he liked being cared for like that. So he couldn't hold back anymore. He kissed her fiercely and forcefully. The waiter who was holding the tray opened the door and saw it. He was shocked. Sheng Xiao didn't even look up. He simply told the waiter, "Get out." Closed the door. The waiter blushed and quickly left the private room so that the two could kiss as they wished. This time, Mu Qiqi was clearly more proactive. But Sheng Xiao held back. "Let's go home and continue." Mu Qiqi's dress was in a mess. She looked very embarrassed. But Sheng Xiao held her tightly in his arms and kissed her on the head. "You little one who made me lose control. I really want to eat you." "Then you eat me. You don't know what's good for you. Don't beg for mercy when we get home." Mu Qiqi laughed happily. She buried her head in Sheng Xiao's arms. Her heart was beating fast. In fact, she wanted to sacrifice herself for Sheng Xiao. She wanted to tell everyone about their relationship. She didn't care about the Shen family or the Sheng family. But she also knew that if she did that, she would completely ruin the happiness between her and Sheng Xiao. After they finished their meal in the revolving restaurant, they planned to go out to enjoy the night view. But when they walked out of the private room, they saw Duan Xiao and sitting at the bar counter. He was hugging a woman and they were kissing as if there was no one else around. Mu Qiqi saw that and glanced at Sheng Xiao. When they walked out of the restaurant, Mu Qiqi looked at Sheng Xiao worriedly. "Speaking of which, I haven't seen Qianqian for a long time. I wonder how she is now. Do you want to tell her? If they broke up, I have nothing to say." But if Duan Xiao and went out behind Qianqian's back, "Up to you," Sheng Xiao said. Then he brought her to the Ferris wheel. Mu Qiqi thought for a while. Then, she took out her phone and called Qianqian. Qianqian heard Mu Qiqi's voice. She was very excited. "Qiqi, why did you call me so late? Are you okay? I just came back from abroad. I heard that many things happened to you. I was thinking of finding time to play with you." "You went abroad?" "Yes, with Xiaoan. We are getting engaged soon. When the time comes, you and the crown prince can come together." Qianqian's tone was light. She could feel that she was very happy now. But wasn't what she and Sheng Xiao saw the truth? Chapter 152. Mu Qiqi lowered her head and thought for a few seconds. Then, she said to Sheng Xiao in a low voice, "Xiao Xiao, Qianqian is my only friend. Then tell her." Sheng Xiao hugged Mu Qiqi tightly and led her out of the revolving restaurant. "You don't have to come here anymore." "But, Xiao Xiao, have you forgotten? Duan Xiao and has seen you in the club. He knows about our relationship. He has to have the chance to tell others," Sheng Xiao said. Then, He led Muchichi out of the restaurant and back to their new home. Seeing that Muchichi had packed her luggage, Sheng Xiao's eyes darkened. He lifted Muchichi over his shoulder. Xiao Xiao. Weren't you seducing me and scrupulously in the restaurant? Sheng Xiao moved closer to Muchichi's nose and stared into her eyes. I was. Now you have to bear the consequences. With that, Muchichi's neck was bitten viciously by Sheng Xiao, and her body was held tightly in his arms. Muchichi could not speak anymore. She was bitten for the whole night. She was only freed when the sky turned blue. But she felt as if she had just been fished out of the water. Her strength was completely drained. Of course, to avoid suspicion, Sheng Xiao did not leave any obvious marks on Muchichi's body. The little one still had to see people. Of course, he cherished her reputation. Muchichi was very tired. In her daze, she saw a tall figure standing beside the big bed and cleaning her up. Muchichi smiled at Sheng Xiao in her half-awake state. Sheng Xiao was excited. This little one actually smiled at him unguardedly at this moment. Was she not worried that she could not come to school on time tomorrow? Muchichi slept soundly on the big bed. The next morning, she was woken up by the alarm clock. When she went downstairs, she saw Su Zipei cooking soup in the kitchen. But Sheng Xiao was gone. Aunt? Young Master Sheng called me early in the morning. He asked me to cook some nourishing chicken soup for you. You have been gone for a week. He is worried about you. Su Zipei explained. It's not because of that. Muchichi blushed a little. Seeing that her walking posture was a little strange, Su Zipei was about to ask. But after thinking about it, she understood. Go wash up. Okay. I'm still young, but I can't ignore it. Muchichi could not refute her concern. After all, it was something between her and Sheng Xiao, and it was not appropriate to talk about it with others. Your cell phone is with me. Grandpa Shin called early in the morning. He's in the hospital, so he won't be sending you to school. All right. There's one more thing. Su Zipei was about to tell her that she could not find Mu Tongxue when Muchichi's phone rang again. Su Zipei answered it for her. Then, she covered her phone and said, Rong Junhan, give it to me. Muchichi took the phone and put it to her ear. Aunt Rong, give me an address. I'll send you to Shangting. Rong Junhan said, Since you are Jianchuan's daughter, you will be my daughter in the future. It is only natural for me to take care of you. Auntie Rong, don't bother. Auntie can give me a lift. You are a Shen. You can't stay in the Sheng family's villa all the time. You have your parents and your family. Tell me the address. Rong Junhan was very strong. Moreover, Muchichi did not know what she was planning. She undoubtedly hated Muchichi's existence. But she still pretended to be kind to her. Who was she trying to fool? Muchichi did not refuse. She told Rong Junhan the address of the villa. What did she say? She's not even married into the Shin family yet, but she's already the head of the family. She wants to send me to Shangting, said Muchichi. Let's go, Aunt Rong. Let's pack up and go to the villa. Should I tell young Master Sheng? Muchichi shook her head, because she knew that Sheng Xiao had his ways to find out about her. But she had not found a chance to tell him about Qianqian. Muchichi did not know how to tell him about it. Not long after they arrived at the villa, Rong Junhan arrived in front of the villa in her limited edition white car. She said to Muchichi when she saw her, Put your luggage in the car. Let's go. Aunt Rong, I'm leaving now. Muchichi put her luggage in the trunk and said goodbye to Su Zipei. Su Zipei looked at Muchichi worriedly. But Rong Junhan was Shin Jianchuan's fiancée now. She had the right to take care of Muchichi. Muchichi got into the car and fastened the seatbelt. But there were many barriers between them. Moreover, Rong Junhan was driving fast on the road. Muchichi, I know what you're thinking. Although you're acting like you don't want to go back to the Shin family, you've already planned it, haven't you? Jianchuan is your father. It's only a matter of time before he brings you back to the Shin family. You're just trying to buy people's hearts. Am I right? When you go back to the Shin family, you'll be the rightful eldest daughter of the Shin family. And I'll become a joke. Aunt Rong. If it's you, how can you not hate me? Rong Junhan slammed on the brakes and stopped the car. Her eyes were filled with extreme anger. From now on, we'll have to live in torment every day. After all, I can't suffer alone. There's one more thing I must tell you. Your father and I are getting married soon. So, from that day onwards, I'll be your mother in name. I'll do my best to take care of you. Mu Qiqi understood the meaning behind Rong Junhan's words. So she remained calm. I know you mind my existence, but I'm not a clay figurine. You can crush me easily. So, you came to see me off today just to declare war? I'm just telling you not to dream about things that you can never get. For example, fatherly love. You didn't get it when you were in the Mu family. You won't get it when you're in the Shin family. I won't give my enemy any chance to live. Don't you want to marry into the Shin family? I'll let you know that marrying into the Shin family is much harder than not marrying at all. Mu Qiqi thought that Rong Junhan would pretend to be sincere. But now that she had revealed the truth, Mu Qiqi felt more relaxed, because she did not have to pretend anymore. If you think that I'm easy to bully, just come at me. Mu Qiqi did not take Rong Junhan's warning to heart. When the time comes, don't go for wool and come home shorn. Don't lose what you already have. The military training will last for a week, right? I'll come and pick you up then. Of course, Rong Junhan did not care about Mu Qiqi at all. She was just a little girl. But at that moment, Mu Qiqi suddenly had a bold guess. The Mu family would not hide Mu Tongxue. So, who else could she be useful to? Chapter 153. Having come this far, Mu Qiqi was no longer a naive person. She would pay more attention to everything. With that thought in mind, Mu Qiqi sent a message to Shang Xiao before she entered the university. I suspect that Rong Junhan has hidden Mu Tongxue. I don't know what she wants to do, but she sent me to the university today and threatened me. Shang Xiao was about to board the plane at the airport. He would go abroad to deal with some business deals before Mu Qiqi went to the military training. When he saw Mu Qiqi's message, he noticed that it was not about Rong Junhan hiding Mu Tongxue. It was about Mu Qiqi being threatened by Rong Junhan. Everyone knew how threatening Rong Junhan would be to Mu Qiqi if she married into the Shin family. So, if Rong Junhan did not want to change her attitude towards Mu Qiqi, then he could only let Rong Junhan marry into the Shin family fall through. Rong Junhan had taken good care of the Shin family all these years. But the Shin family had helped the Rong family through several crises. So it was hard to tell who owed whom. On the surface, Rong Junhan had done her best. She had a good reputation. But could she take care of Shin Jianchuan for so many years without any purpose? Previously, he had suspected that the timing of Shin Jianchuan waking up was too coincidental. However, if he wanted to investigate, it might take some time. Mu Qiqi thought that Shang Xiao would not reply to her. She was about to call Qianqian. But Shang Xiao's reply was enough to make her laugh. Then threaten her. Can't you do that? What was Rong Junhan? Although Mu Tongshua's words were not pleasant, she was telling the truth. She was an outsider through and through. I know you love me. After replying, Mu Qiqi scrolled to Qianqian's number. She could only think of the scene she saw last night. Mu Qiqi's expression became much more serious. Hello, Qiqi. Qianqian, I am going to the military training soon. But there is something I want to tell you. Mu Qiqi said awkwardly. She was afraid that she would hurt Qianqian. But at the same time, she was afraid that Qianqian would be fooled again. Tell me. I am listening. Xiao Xiao and I were at the revolving restaurant last night, and... But before Mu Qiqi could finish, Qianqian quickly interrupted her. I know what you want to say. Qiqi, let's talk about it when you come back. Okay? Now hurry up and go for your military training. Before Mu Qiqi could ask anything else, Qianqian hung up the phone in a hurry. Her attitude was very strange. If that was the case, Qianqian must have known about Duan Shaoan. If she knew that he was looking for other women, why did she still get engaged to him? They were friends and childhood sweethearts. Everything seemed to be perfect. However, Duan Shaoan gave Mu Qiqi the feeling that he was restless. But why would Qianqian tolerate Duan Shao? And when she hated evil and her family was well off, she couldn't figure it out. But no matter what, this was someone else's business. No matter how worried she was, she could not go to Qianqian and ask her to break up. With that thought in mind, Mu Qiqi turned around and entered the university. This was her path as a forensic doctor, and also her own choice. In fact, Qianqian did know about Duan Shaoan. As the engagement approached, more and more people told her that they saw Duan Shao and having sex with another woman. Therefore, after hanging up the phone with Mu Qiqi, she really wanted to go to the Duan family and question Duan Shaoan. He had promised her that he would not flirt with other women. Why did he have to be so brazen when it was close to the engagement? Qianqian liked to stand up for others. But when things happened to her, she would show her cowardice and give in. It was not that Duan Shaoan did not like her. She could feel it. But Duan Shaoan preferred the colorful world outside. He liked young girls who did not need money. She knew that. But she had liked him for so many years. She had already accepted her fate. After the engagement, both of them would go abroad to study. This was the future she had envisioned. She could try to change Duan Shaoan. She thought she could influence him with love. But even Qiqi could see Duan Shao and having an affair outside. At the end of the day, she was just an 18-year-old girl. She liked someone so much that she had no dignity. Forget it. She would endure it. After the engagement, she would be able to restrain Duan Shaoan. She knew it. At that moment, Mu Qiqi did not know what happened to her best friend, because she was about to enter the cruel military training. Of course, she was not surprised by Mu Tongshue's whereabouts. Rong Junhan had taken Mu Tongxue away. Moreover, Mu Tongxue was sent to her dance school. Mu Tongxue did not know Rong Junhan's intention, but she was afraid from the bottom of her heart, because she did not know what the young mistress of the Shen family would do to her. From today onwards, I want you to imitate Mu Qiqi. You must look exactly like her, from the way she speaks to her, even the way she walks. Mu Tongxue was shocked when she heard what Rong Junhan said. But we can totally tell each other apart from our appearance. All these can be faked. I want you to pretend to be Mu Qiqi in front of Jianchuan. You must ruin Mu Qiqi's image in his heart. I will arrange the time, but you have no other choice, because you have nowhere to go. Rong Junhan stared into Mu Tongshue's eyes. Don't you want revenge? Of course I want it. I want it even in my dreams. Then why are you hesitating? After this, I will change your name. I will let you learn in my dance studio. I will give you a new life as long as you promise to pretend to be Mu Qiqi for me. Now that Mu Tongshue's everything was ruined, she needed a new life, and Rong Junhan's suggestion was too tempting. So, Mu Tongxue felt that she could not reject it. Are you sure you will succeed? Mu Qiqi is not easy to deal with now. No matter how difficult it is, she is just a little girl. But doesn't she have someone to teach her? It's just Grandpa Shen's trick. He knew that you're not a member of the Shen family, so he purposely taught Mu Qiqi a lesson. Do you really think that no one in the Sheng family would care about a little girl other than Jingyun? Rong Junhan said arrogantly, because in her heart the Sheng family was just that arrogant. But she never thought that Mu Qiqi had Sheng Shao behind her back. And Sheng Shao would not care whose sister-in-law she was, or whom she was indebted to. Chapter 154. Although Sheng Shao was abroad, he asked Jingyun to keep an eye on the Shen family. He wanted to make Shen Jianchuan's doctor one of his own. Mu Qiqi guessed that Rong Junhan had hidden Mu Tongxue. Actually, he already knew it. Otherwise, he would not be the crown prince of Huangyao anymore. What else could he use Mu Tongxue for now? It was her face that looked similar to Mu Qiqi's. Not only did Sheng Shao want him to know about it, but he also wanted Grandpa Shen to know about it. So, he asked Jingyun to go to the Shen family to fish with Grandpa Shen. Old Shen, are you going to let Madame Rong marry into the Shen family? You should know what it means to Mu Qiqi if Madame Rong marries into the Shen family. We did not save Mu Qiqi just to let her escape from the wolf's den and enter the tiger's mouth. Grandpa Shin sneered while fishing. Why do you think I insisted on letting Mu Chichi marry into the Shin family? Because I know that Rong Junhan has been trying to buy people's hearts all these years. She did take care of the Shin family. But what the Shin family gave her in return was to protect the Rong family from bankruptcy. So, I have never felt sorry for her. But we owe Mu Chichi a lot. Old Shin. I know that Junhan will not accept Mu Chichi, but Mu Chichi is my granddaughter. It is natural for her to marry into the Shin family. No one can stop her. But young Master Shin and Madame Rong are getting married. Jing Yun reminded him. There is one more thing I should tell you. Mu Tongxue is missing. According to my guess, Madame Rong is the only one who is interested in Mu Tongxue now. If she tries to stir up trouble in front of young Master Shin, it will affect the relationship between Mu Chichi and young Master Shin. After hearing this, Grandpa Shin turned around and looked at Jing Yun. Mu Tongxue is missing? Even the Shang family couldn't find this person. Vanishing without a trace in a single night. Isn't that enough to prove something? Grandpa Shin's eyes darkened. He put down his fishing rod and nodded. If it is true, Rong Junhan will not be able to marry into the Shin family. As for Jianchuan, I will tell him everything and ask him to be more careful. Don't worry. Jianchuan is different from Mu Chichi's uncles. He has his own judgment. He will not be easily influenced. Then I am relieved. Miss Mu Chichi is only going out for military training. I do not want her to come back. I do not want her to be bullied. Thank you, Jing Yun. With me and her father here, no one in this family can bully her. Jing Yun conveyed his message and left the Shin family. But he had reminded Grandpa Shin enough. Although Grandpa Shin had retired, he was not a fool. His mind was as clear as a mirror. Jianchuan could not speak. Yun. Ju Jianchuan. Shang of the Shin of the Shangs in of Jiu. Although Shin Jianchuan could not speak, he could feel that there was a gap between Grandpa Shin and the Shin family. So, Shin Jianchuan pinched Grandpa Shin's palm when the Shuns were not around. Grandpa Shin understood his son's hint. He said, "Eldest brother, you must understand what I am going to say next. Mu Chichi has a twin sister. She is a member of the Mu family. She looks like Mu Chichi. This girl bullied Mu Chichi before. She even wanted to join the Shin family. She has gone missing recently. I suspect that Junhan has hidden her. I am telling you this so that you know what is going on. Mu Chichi has a pair of clear eyes. She is an unforgettable girl. She is a good girl." Shin Jianchuan did not know what happened between the Shin family and Rong Junhan, but he knew that Rong Junhan did not like Mu Chichi. So he nodded. "You have a daughter now. You must get well soon. Don't let a woman lead you by the nose. Junhan has been taking care of you for many years, but she is not without purpose. You should think about it yourself. I will not say much." Shin Jianchuan nodded again. There were some things that he did not understand. But he did not forget everything even though he had been asleep for more than 10 years. For example, how did Su Ziqing know that he was going to be engaged to Miss Rong that night? Who told Su Ziqing about it? Since you understand, I will not say much. I will bring Mu Chichi to see you when she comes back. At the mention of Mu Chichi, Shin Jianchuan's eyes lit up. His daughter was probably the biggest motivation for him to recover. At that moment, Mu Chichi was running with weights on the field with her classmates. Actually, there were not many girls who majored in forensic science. There were only a few girls who were cheated by the main characters in the dramas. They thought that forensic doctors were handsome and stylish. They were indeed stylish. But these girls did not seem to know what they were going to face next. Pathology, physiology, and anatomy were the most basic subjects. When they were in their second year, they would learn about parasites, because the maggots on a corpse were also an important basis to determine the time of death. Mu Chichi had done a lot of homework. She was prepared to vomit 1,000,000 times. But she could not bear to see her friends laughing happily. When she returned to the dormitory at night, Mu Chichi hid in the washroom and video-called Shang Xiao. Knowing that he was in Germany, Mu Chichi could not help but miss him. "Xiao Xiao, I can't sleep when I am not in your arms. Lack of love. Sheng Xiao replied casually. Who told you that? Mu Qiqi glared at him. Sheng Xiao chuckled. He put down the document in his hand and said, I will record a lullaby for you later. I will send it to you when I am done with my work. Hurry up. Mu Qiqi waited. After the video call ended, she squatted in the washroom and waited. After a while, Sheng Xiao's voice came. But Mu Qiqi laughed when she heard it, because Sheng Xiao was not singing a lullaby. He was singing Two Tigers. Qiqi, stop chatting with your boyfriend. I am going to pee. Mu Qiqi walked out of the washroom with her phone in satisfaction when she heard her roommate's voice. Qiqi, can your boyfriend stand you being so clingy? Another roommate asked her while cutting her nails. He has a bad temper. But he had never lost his temper at her. Let's introduce him next time. Introduce the crown prince of Huangyao to you? You will be scared to death. Mu Qiqi shook her head. Let's wait for the next time. Effed petty. Mu Qiqi did not care. She was petty to Sheng Xiao. Everything that belonged to this man was hers, and it could only be hers. Holding her phone, Mu Qiqi listened to Sheng Xiao's song, Two Tigers. Then, she put on her earplugs and went to bed. There were still 5 days left. Why was time passing so slowly? Although it had only been 2 days, Xin Jianchuan already knew everything about Mu Qiqi in the Mu family. He also knew that Rong Junhan had instigated the Xin family not to admit Mu Qiqi's identity, his daughter. Chapter 155. In order to take care of Xin Jianchuan, Rong Junhan moved into the Xin family. Grandpa Xin could not say anything. After all, Rong Junhan was his eldest son's fiancée. She had taken care of his son for so many years. As a father, he should be grateful to her. Moreover, their wedding was coming soon. The Xin family was very happy about it, especially second brother's family. They were very happy when they knew that Rong Junhan was moving into the new house that was prepared for them many years ago. They not only supported her verbally, but also helped Rong Junhan to bring her luggage into the Xin family. I'm old now. I can't care about you young people. But Junhan, I only have one request. Qiqi will always have a room and a seat in this house. Father, Qiqi is Jianchuan's daughter. I will definitely take good care of her. Only the Xin brothers believed in these words. Father, eldest sister has always been fair. Are you afraid that she will bully Qiqi? No one dares to touch Qiqi when I'm alive. But what if I'm dead? Grandpa Xin snorted. I know you don't like Qiqi. You don't have to pretend in front of me. Father, isn't it good for Qiqi to stay in the Sheng family now? Second Aunt Huang Yu chimed in. At most, when she comes back from military training, we, as her aunts, can't take care of her. Junhan, since you and Jianchuan have decided to hold the wedding earlier, you must make sure that Qiqi is well taken care of. You can't let my granddaughter suffer. I know, Father. Xin Jianchuan needed a long time to recover. It would take at least 1.5 years. To fulfill Rong Junhan's wish, Xin Jianchuan agreed to hold the wedding earlier. But he might have to sit in a wheelchair at that time. This woman had been by his side for so many years. He should give Rong Junhan a title, because he needed to find out the truth. If Rong Junhan was innocent, he would certainly treat her well. But if Rong Junhan had really done something that would harm others and herself, he certainly could not let her go so easily. Grandpa Xin was good at finding time to go to the hospital to avoid the Xin family and Rong Junhan. After all, Xin Jianchuan did not need anyone to take care of him 24/7. Therefore, this became the only chance for the father and son to have a heart-to-heart talk. There was no doubt that Grandpa Sheng liked Mu Qiqi very much, especially when he talked about Mu Qiqi's college entrance examination. She had chosen forensic science with a score of more than 730 points. Grandpa Sheng smiled. Whose granddaughter is she? Mine. Of course, it's also your daughter. He has the temper of our Xin family. Xin Jianchuan listened to her and felt shocked. He just did not expect Mu Tongxue to be so bold. Remembering that Mu Qiqi was going to university, he thought for a long time before mouthing to the old man, Dad, I want to give Mu Chi-Chi a present. What do you want to give her? Buy her a car and let her drive it to school. It's a token of my sincerity as a father. The old man nodded and patted his son on the shoulder. Okay, I'll take care of it for you. Now, when Shin Jianchuan spoke, he was silent because he could not make a sound. He could only rely on his lips, although sometimes Grandpa Shin might not understand. With Mu Chi-Chi around, you won't be lonely for the rest of your life. Shin Jianchuan nodded. His eyes were filled with hope. He was a father now. He wanted to protect his daughter, especially when he heard that Mu Chi-Chi had suffered a lot in the Mu family. If Mu Tongxue was really hidden by Rong Junhan and wanted to stir up trouble, he would definitely teach her a lesson. Although he could not move freely, he was still conscious. Moreover, he believed that he could recover 70 to 80% of a normal person after his recovery. While Mu Chi-Chi was still in school, the Shin family started to prepare for Rong Junhan and Shin Jianchuan's wedding. But when they talked about Mu Chi-Chi, they had different opinions. This is your and eldest brother's wedding. Is it necessary to introduce Mu Chi-Chi to everyone? There will be hundreds of people there. What will they think of you and eldest brother? Huang Yu helped Rong Junhan to choose the wedding items outside. In my opinion, she shouldn't come to such an important event. Dad will not agree. What's the use if Dad disagrees? This is your and eldest brother's wedding. You should make your own decisions. Huang Yu sighed. Even if it's for the sake of the Shin family, I can't be too stubborn. Do you really think it's better not to let Mu Chi-Chi attend the wedding? It's fine if Mu Chi-Chi is the daughter of that woman. But they are twins. Moreover, they have the same mother but different father. What will people think? Rong Junhan nodded. Of course, she did not want to embarrass herself. I will make the arrangements. I will let her attend the wedding too. But whether she can attend the wedding is none of my business, said Rong Junhan solemnly. Her previous arrangement was clearly for Grandpa Shin's sake. Moreover, she could see that Shin Jianchuan liked his daughter very much. But he could not do anything. He could not say anything. So it was up to her to make the decision. Did she want that woman's child to attend her wedding? Not even thinking about it? Sigh. Mu Chi-Chi will be back tomorrow, right? Sister-in-law, are you going to fetch her? Of course, said Rong Junhan. Huang Yu was a woman. Moreover, she was a mother. Rong Junhan had been serving the Shin family for so many years. She did not get married or have a child. How could she not feel sad when she saw that? So, even if Rong Junhan wanted to do something outrageous, Huang Yu felt that it was reasonable. Although she could not hate Mu Chi-Chi, she was still willing to stand on Rong Junhan's side. But would Mu Chi-Chi care about Rong Junhan's appearance in school? Mu Chi-Chi had been missing Sheng Xiao for 7 days. She just wanted to see Sheng Xiao as soon as possible. She did not want to have more contact with Rong Junhan, and when Sheng Xiao came back from abroad, the first thing he did was to go to Shangting University to fetch Mu Chi-Chi. Mu Chi-Chi walked out of the school immediately after school. She found Sheng Xiao's car and got in it quietly. When they passed the familiar junction, Mu Chi-Chi lay on Sheng Xiao's body and did not let go. Xiao Xiao, I miss you so much. How can I drive if you hug me like this? Sheng Xiao chuckled. You don't know how I survived the last 5 days with the help of 2 tigers. It was so hard. Mu Chi-Chi hugged Sheng Xiao's arm, but she did not hug him so tightly that it would affect his driving. You have tanned. Sheng Xiao lowered his head and looked at Mu Chi-Chi. He felt sorry for her. But you are healthier. You should practice more. Otherwise, you will beg for mercy in the middle of the night. Why are you talking about this now? Mu Chi-Chi pouted and asked. Chapter 156. Shouldn't they have gotten married a long time ago? It dragged on for so many years. When Mu Chi-Chi talked about this matter, her eyes were clearly emotionless. She did not think that this was within her jurisdiction. But I don't want her to marry into the Shin family. Because of me? Mu Chi-Chi asked in surprise. Not just because of that. There are many things about this woman that are suspicious. So, it might not be a good thing for everyone in the Shin family if she marries into the Shin family. Of course, I don't care about other people's business. But I can't ignore it as long as it's about you, Sheng Xiao answered. Mu Qiqi nodded. The grievance she felt after being exposed to the sun for 7 days was gone. Xiao Xiao, you have done many things for me since the day we met, but I have never done anything for you. You still have many things to do for me. Why do you fight with me? Sheng Xiao said meaningfully. Did his little one not know that she was going to have children in the future? Rong Junhan's car arrived at the school gate soon after they left. But Rong Junhan did not get her as she wished. Then she called Mu Qiqi. Where are you? I'm at the gate of your school. I'm sorry, Aunt Rong. I'm already home. Mu Qiqi answered directly. I told you before I sent you there that I would come and get you. Rong Junhan sounded like she was blaming her, because she hated it when people didn't take her words seriously and took them to heart. I didn't agree. Then Mu Qiqi hung up. She dared to go against Rong Junhan. The reason why Rong Junhan was so proactive was not only because she wanted to show Grandpa Shin, but also because she had installed a camera in her car. She wanted to record Mu Qiqi's every move so that Mu Tongxue could imitate her. If Mu Qiqi did not interact with her, how could Mu Tongxue imitate her perfectly? After all, Mu Tongxue had too little material in her hands now. Now, it seemed that Mu Qiqi was not just difficult to control. Her rebellious nature was very obvious. She was just an 18-year-old girl. Could she do anything? That was right. Sheng Zhao's little one had been on the national news. Wasn't she going to turn the world upside down? Shang Xiao laughed when he saw Mu Qiqi hanging up on Rong Junhan's call. My cheer has grown a lot. The Shin family loves her so much. How dare you hang up on her? It's good enough that I hung up on her. I won't pick up her call next time. Mu Qiqi put away her phone and continued to hold Shang Zhao's hand. The two of them returned to the small villa together. But what surprised Mu Qiqi was that Su Zipei was still in class and had not returned home. In order to be worthy of Mu Qiqi and Lu Wenhua, Su Zipei had been improving herself every day. Forget it, Xiao Xiao. Take a seat. I'm going to take a shower. It's too uncomfortable to wear this camouflage uniform. With that, Mu Qiqi went upstairs. Sheng Xiao followed behind her. He liked the camouflage uniform she was wearing. Since Su Zipei was not here, he would let him have a good meal first. So, when Mu Qiqi opened the door, Shang Xiao carried her on his shoulder and put her on the big bed in her room. Mu Qiqi was startled. She quickly resisted. I'm dirty. I've even jogged after school. Next time, put on a white coat and show me. Sheng Xiao did not mind what she said at all. Moreover, there was a faint fragrance on her body. It was the unique smell of a young girl. Sheng Xiao hugged Mu Qiqi. He missed her more. So Mu Qiqi did not struggle anymore. She said to Sheng Xiao, let's go to the bathroom. Sheng Xiao carried her into the bathroom. Then he put her on the washstand. Mu Qiqi was wearing the camouflage uniform. She had the sunshine and beauty of youth. It made people want to get close to her. Xiao Xiao, I miss you. After saying that, Mu Qiqi started to sing the song Two Tigers. Sheng Xiao could not hold back anymore. He grabbed her neck, pulled her to him and kissed her. But just as they kissed passionately, Su Zipei returned to the little mansion. She knocked on Mu Qiqi's door. Qiqi, are you back? Although it was no secret to Su Zipei that they were living together, wouldn't she die of embarrassment if Aunt Zipei saw them being so intimate? Sheng Xiao seemed to read her mind. He deliberately bit her lips to stop her from making a sound. Mu Qiqi was so anxious that she almost cried out. Su Zipei saw that Mu Qiqi did not respond. Then, she saw Sheng Zhao's car downstairs. She guessed what was going on in the house. So, she tactfully went downstairs. Mu Qiqi quickly pushed Sheng Xiao away when she heard the footsteps getting further away. It's too embarrassing if Aunt Zipei finds out. She already knows anyway. Why not continue? With that, Sheng Xiao did not wait for Mu Qiqi to resist. He gave her a solid bath. However, he did not use the water in the bathroom. When they went downstairs 2 hours later, Mu Qiqi had already taken a bath. Sheng Xiao looked refreshed as if nothing had happened. Dinner is ready. Come and eat. Su Zipei greeted them. Aunt Zipei. Mu Chichi was a little embarrassed. I will go to Wenhua tonight. You can stay here or go home. It's up to you. Su Zipei deliberately avoided the topic. I have classes tonight. You and Uncle Lu. He is not feeling well these few days. I will take care of him there. Su Zipei explained. Mu Chichi smiled and nodded. I know. Go ahead. Don't worry about us. I have also made some chicken soup. If you are going to the hospital, please bring it to your father. I am in a hurry, so I have to go now. Mu Chichi looked at Shang Xiao when she mentioned the hospital. She hung up on Rong Junhan today. She did not know what Rong Junhan was going to say in front of her father. Will father believe what Rong Junhan said? Won't we know when we visit him tonight? Shang Xiao leaned back on the chair and answered. He looked lazy. He seemed very confident. Why don't we make a bet? Moreover, they are getting married soon. Rong Junhan must not want me to attend their wedding, right? I am a stain to her. You won't go if she doesn't want you to go. Shang Xiao lowered his head and looked into Mu Chichi's eyes. You are not that obedient. But let's see if the wedding can be carried out first. Shang Xiao picked up the bowl and chopsticks. He put Mu Chichi's favorite dish in her bowl. Hurry up and eat. Let's go to the hospital. Are you going to show yourself? Shang Xiao shook his head. It's not time yet. Chapter 157. Mu Chichi nodded. She totally understood Shang Xiao's concern. The Shen family was trying to ostracize her now. If they knew that she was with Shang Xiao, they might try to separate them. After all, they were one generation apart. After dinner, Shang Xiao sent Mu Chichi to the hospital. At that moment, second aunt Huang Yu and Rong Junhan were there. When they saw Mu Chichi at the door of the ward, their faces darkened. But they did not stop her because it was meaningless to stop her now. It was just that Huang Yu had just told Shen Jianchuan that Mu Chichi did not know what was good for her. Now she was here in person. She felt a little ashamed of being caught red-handed. Mu Chichi could feel the atmosphere in the ward, but she kept her composure. She put the chicken soup in front of Shen Jianchuan's bed and sat down in front of him. When Shen Jianchuan saw that his daughter was here, his eyes instantly lit up and he became energetic. Dad! Mu Chichi felt awkward when she said that. So she said, We've only met a few times. I'm not used to calling you that. Shen Jianchuan wanted to grab Mu Chichi immediately after he heard that. Mu Chichi understood. She held Shen Jianchuan's skinny left hand. What do you want to say to me? Chichi, your Aunt Rong went to pick you up in the afternoon. Why did you leave alone? Do you know that your Aunt Rong waited for you in the school for 3 hours? Second aunt took the opportunity to interrupt the interaction between the father and daughter. Do you not respect your elders at all? Did the Mu family only teach you this? Mu Chichi wanted to say something when she heard Huang Yu's question, but Shen Jianchuan pinched the back of her hand. It was just a small movement, but Mu Chichi could feel that Shen Jianchuan supported her. He was on her side. So, she turned her head and looked at Huang Yu. Second aunt, are you good at making things difficult for the younger generation? What nonsense are you talking about? Otherwise, why would you stop me from seeing my father again and again? Why would you talk bad about me in front of him? Mu Chichi asked Huang Yu in a serious tone. Huang Yu shook her head. That's right. That's because your family did not teach you to respect your elders. Respecting the elders doesn't mean following blindly. If the elders told me to kill someone, would I do it? I know you don't like me because I blocked Auntie Rong's way and ruined the relationship between Auntie Rong and Dad. But I'm also a person of flesh and blood. I can't let you hurt me like this again and again. You have a sharp tongue. Second aunt could not win against Mu Chichi in an argument, so she could only mock and snort coldly. Shen Jianchuan pinched Mu Chichi's palm again, as if reminding Mu Chichi not to deliberately pay attention to Huang Yu. If she did that, she would not let go. No matter how bad my upbringing is, I won't go overboard and meddle in other people's family affairs. Huang Yu didn't know how to refute, so she stood aside sulkily. Mu Chichi finally got some peace and quiet. Only then could she talk to Shin Jianchuan properly. You went for military training. You're a little tanned, but you're healthier now. Shin Jianchuan nodded. I brought you some chicken soup. Would you like some? Shin Jianchuan nodded again when he heard that. He could not even eat a single bite of the food that Rong Junhan had prepared just now. It was a slap to his face. Eldest brother. You're too much. Mu Chichi did not care about them. She scooped up the chicken soup and gave it to Shin Jianchuan. Was that not enough to explain the problem? Shin Jianchuan had been standing by his daughter's side since the beginning. Huang Yu, don't say any more. Rong Junhan quietly kept the thermos and held it in her hand. It's rare for your eldest brother to see his daughter. Let them get to know each other better. Are we leaving just like that? Huang Yu was not satisfied. Mu Chichi only felt relieved when she saw them leaving the ward. She said to Shin Jianchuan, Father, you must get well soon. Otherwise, I will continue to be bullied. Mu Chichi said it in a coquettish manner. After all, when did she suffer any losses? Shin Jianchuan drank the chicken soup and nodded. He would definitely recover as soon as possible. So, he did not just ask Grandpa Shin for the treatment in the hospital. He also asked Grandpa Shin to look for a specialist from abroad. It was also that he could hug his daughter as soon as possible. Mu Chichi knew that Shin Jianchuan was not a bad person. He would not be like Papa Mu. So, she was relieved and decided to open up to her father. Of course, that was excluding the matter of her being with Shang Xiao. I will accompany you today. Shin Jianchuan was already satisfied with that. After a while, Mu Chichi left the hospital. Shin Jianchuan called the nurse over and mouthed to her that he wanted to see Grandpa Shin. His daughter's position in the Shin family was so bad. As a father, he felt sorry for her. So, he had to do something for his daughter. After Mu Chichi left the hospital, she went back to Shang Xiao's car. But when Shang Xiao saw Rong Junhan and second aunt leaving, he knew that Cheer must be in a difficult situation. Did she teach you a lesson? I don't eat at her house. Why should I endure her lesson? Mu Chichi answered. I'm just worried that father can't move. So Aunt Rong will take care of him. She is your father's fiancée in name. If you want her not to be his fiancée, you must find her fault. Shang Xiao said meaningfully while driving. Do you have any idea? Let's go back and talk. Shang Xiao stared at his little one. Didn't I tell you before that the timing of your father's awakening was too coincidental? So, I asked Jing Yun to look up your father's information in the hospital. There is nothing suspicious about him waking up. But, I found something else. Something else. Mu Chichi was excited. The two of them sped up and went home. They wanted to figure out what was going on. But, they received a call from Grandpa Shin. Chichi, I am at the villa. Why are you not back from the hospital yet? Mu Chichi turned around and looked at Shang Xiao. It's Grandpa. Shang Xiao heard that and turned around immediately. He sent Mu Chichi to the entrance of the villa. Mu Chichi entered the villa and saw Grandpa Shin standing in front of a brand new car. He waved at her. Come and have a look. Grandpa, this is a gift from your father. Grandpa Shin passed the car key to Mu Chichi. You can drive it to school. Wow, Grandpa. This is too ostentatious. And I don't know how to drive. Mu Chichi did not know whether to laugh or cry. This is your father's gift. You must accept it no matter what. Grandpa Shin was happy because he could still do something for his son. Mu Chichi took a deep breath and nodded. I can accept it. But the Shin family has something to say. Your father bought it with his money. Who dares to object? Grandpa, I went to the hospital to visit father today. I felt a little uneasy. Second aunt is also Aunt Rong's woman. I am worried that father will not be well taken care of. Chapter 158. Grandpa Mu was a military man, so he liked cars with a lot of space. It was a little exaggerated for a petite Mu Chichi to drive such a car. But Mu Chichi was still happy because it was a cool car. Grandpa Mu was satisfied when he saw Mu Chichi being so happy. Your father asked me to go to the hospital. I'll go now. I'll teach you how to drive sometime. Mu Chichi smiled. She had the best driver. She didn't need Grandpa Mu to teach her. After Grandpa Mu left, Shang Xiao entered the small villa. When he saw the car, he crossed his arms and said, "Your grandfather is really generous. It's a pity that I don't know how to drive. I know how to drive a lot of cars, but I don't know which one you want to learn." Mu Chichi blushed. She knew that he was implying something, but she passed him the car key. "Let's go home first. Tell me what you found." "Can't wait." They drove the new car home. Shang Xiao brought Mu Chichi into the study. He took out the documents Jing Yun sent. "This is the copy of all the documents after your father was hospitalized. It includes the diagnosis of his injuries." Mu Chichi quickly opened the documents, but she couldn't understand the professional terms. "Just tell me." Shang Xiao turned her body and told her face to face. "To put it simply, your father was indeed seriously injured at that time. There were many injuries on his body, but those injuries were not the main cause of your father becoming a vegetable. The main reason why he became a vegetable is because of the impact. He was injured twice. There was a 2-hour gap between the two injuries." "You mean it was not done by the same group of people?" Mu Chichi understood what Shang Xiao meant. "If you were the one who hit him, would you hit him 2 hours later?" Mu Chichi shook her head. "Most importantly, this diagnosis was taken from the discarded documents. In other words, the second collision injury was concealed. If it was done by the group of people who hurt your father, why would they hide it?" Mu Chichi's expression darkened. "Someone related to my father. They were afraid that he would know. That's why they hid it. But the doctor who gave the diagnosis had left the hospital a long time ago. So, I asked Jing Yun to find the person and find out the truth. You already have a suspect in your heart, right? Why did Rong Junhan stay by your father's side all these years? Was it really because of love? Or was it because he was afraid that the secret would be revealed? No one knows." Shang Xiao closed the file and answered Mu Chichi, "All in all, the more I investigate this woman, the more interesting she becomes." "Xiao Xiao, you're really amazing." Mu Chichi put her arms around Shang Xiao's neck. "Is this the first day you know how powerful I am?" This man loved to say things with hidden meanings. Moreover, they were all dirty jokes. It was really irresistible. "Want to learn how to drive?" Mu Chichi nodded at his question. "Are you going to teach him now? But it's already late at night." "I'll teach you now." With that, he carried Mu Chichi straight to the bedroom, not giving her any chance to react. Mu Chichi was stunned for a moment. Then she understood. This man was really... She was too naive just now. When Grandpa Shen arrived at the hospital, he met his son. From him, he knew that Huang Yu had made things difficult for Mu Chichi today. "Father, there are no rules in the house now. From now on, Huang Yu does not need to appear in my ward." Shen Jianchuan spent a lot of effort to tell Grandpa Shen. Grandpa Shen nodded his head. "Are you taking revenge for your daughter? She is still your granddaughter." Grandpa Shen never asked about the affairs of the Shen family. He never intervened in the fight between second and third daughter-in-law. But this time, Huang Yu did something to Xiao Qiqi. She was eldest brother's favorite. How could he allow it? Since Shen Jianchuan had spoken, it would be much easier to settle the matter. "Don't worry. You won't be able to see her tomorrow. Also, when I sent the car to Qiqi just now, she told me that you can't move around freely now. She is worried about your safety. She is worried that you might be controlled by someone." How could the father and son not care about that? "Little girl, you are quite meticulous. It was Jing Yun who taught you." How was it Jing Yun who taught her? It was clearly Shang Xiao who taught her step by step. After receiving his son's request, Grandpa Shen returned to the Shen family. While everyone was still awake, he summoned the Shen family to the front hall. "I asked you to come here so late because I have an arrangement. From tomorrow onwards, only Junhan will take care of the 2 daughters-in-law in the hospital. Don't go to eldest brother's ward." "Father, why?" Huang Yu asked quickly. "You made things difficult for his daughter in front of him. Do you think you can do whatever you want just because he can't say a word? Grandpa Shin said to Huang Yu sternly. In order to keep eldest brother happy, don't go around in front of him. Save your kindness for the future. Huang Yu looked at Grandpa Shin. Huang Yu was upset. She leaned on her husband's arm unwillingly, but second elder could not do anything about it. Let's listen to father. I am afraid that father is acting on his own. Unfortunately, Grandpa Shin heard what she said, so he turned around and sneered. If you don't believe me, you can go to the hospital tomorrow. I don't care if you are kicked out. Huang Yu was unwilling, but she had to give up. Although she was worried about her sister-in-law, she had offended eldest brother. She was stuck in a dilemma. You all know what kind of person eldest brother is. Although his body is broken now, he is still conscious. Some people should not do things that are difficult and unrewarding. Compared to Huang Yu, third aunt was much more low-key after she was humiliated that day, because she knew that the people around her hated her very much. Now, she was very happy to see second elder being humiliated. Huang Yu was jumping up and down, but she was not allowed to enter the ward because of Shin Jianchuan's words. She was really happy. Everyone could see that Shin Jianchuan was taking revenge for Mu Qiqi, including Rong Junhan. Of course, she did not know that Shang Xiao had asked Jing Yun to investigate her secretly. If they could find the evidence, the marriage would come to an end. She did not expect that Shin Jianchuan could come up with so many ideas even though he could not speak. In order to protect that woman's child, Shin Jianchuan did not care about her for so many years. He was really heartless. It was okay. She did not have the absolute right to speak now. She would wait until she married into the Shin family. Then, she would settle the scores with Grandpa Shin and Mu Qiqi. Chapter 159. Although she was not sure, she was sure that the girl who kissed Duan Xiao and in the revolving restaurant that night was very similar to this girl, especially her side profile. She did not know what Qianqian was thinking after she called her that day. She did not even know when she would get engaged. Mu Qiqi had mixed feelings when she thought about it. What surprised Mu Qiqi even more was that Qianqian was already engaged. She was like a snail, hiding in her shell and deceiving herself. She did not listen to anyone's advice. She did not even tell anyone who saw Duan Xiao and's affair. She just got engaged because she did not want to cause any more trouble. Mu Qiqi did not take the initiative to contact Qianqian. It was because she felt that although she did not do anything wrong with Duan Xiao, and it was too much for Qianqian, so it was reasonable that Qianqian did not want to contact her. She thought about the last days in Eton. She and Qianqian were so carefree. Why did they have to bear more and more pain when they were adults and entered university? She was hurt by Mu Tongxue. Then she lost her mother. She had experienced the biggest change in her life. To confirm her guess, Mu Qiqi deliberately paid attention to the girls' department and classroom. She even saw the girls' dormitory. But she saw the girl driving a black car and driving past the school road more than once. After school, Mu Qiqi told Shang Xiao about it. I think Qianqian and I can't go back to the past. Of course, she did not tell you that she is engaged. Shang Xiao told her frankly. She is engaged? Shang Xiao nodded. The aristocratic circle was not small, but it was not big either. Mu Qiqi didn't say anything more, but she looked disappointed. Everyone had their own life, and she didn't have the right to criticize Qianqian's decision. Duan Xiao and's lover is in Shangting University. She does not want to wake up. It is useless for you to be anxious. Mu Qiqi sighed. That was all she could do. She thought that the relationship between her and Qianqian had come to an end. But she did not expect that Qianqian would contact her 2 days later. Qiqi, are you free? I want to meet you. Yes. Mu Qiqi quickly replied. So, after class, Mu Qiqi texted Shang Xiao and told him that she would go to the cafe and come home later. The engaged Qianqian had indeed matured. But Mu Qiqi did not see a smile on her face anymore. Qiqi, actually I know. Mu Qiqi interrupted her. Although I don't know why. I'm pregnant. Qian did not wait for Mu Qiqi to finish her sentence and dropped a bomb on her. Duan Xiao's child. Then, you can just get married. But I found out that he was still in contact with that woman. Qianqian held the cup, her tears falling. I'm only 18 years old, but I've already given up everything for him. I've done everything I can for him, everything I should have done for him. But in the end, I realized that men are really cheap. They like things that they can't get. Do your parents know about this? Yes. Qianqian nodded. But Qiqi, I really don't know what to do now. Mu Qiqi looked at Qianqian. She did not know what she had gone through in such a short time. I don't know how to persuade you now. I don't know if this child is important to you or not. Do you want it or not? I just want to say one thing. Duan Xiao is definitely not someone you can entrust your life to. After Qianqian heard that, she seemed to have made up her mind. I want the child. It's a life after all. But you're only 18 years old. I've made up my mind. I'll tell him. Mu Qiqi did not know what Qianqian was planning. Although her family did not lack money, Qianqian was still so young. Although the child was legitimate, Mu Qiqi always felt that she was shouldering something that she should not be shouldering at her age. Mu Qiqi was very touched when she saw Qianqian like this. She fell into Shang Zhao's arms when they got home and did not say a word. Shang Zhao hugged the little one and touched her forehead. Are you sick? Where does it hurt? Mu Qiqi thumped her chest. She was speechless. My heart aches. Xiao Qianqian is pregnant. But that scumbag is still fooling around outside. If your friend doesn't wake up, it's useless no matter what you say or do. Mu Qiqi knew that too. I just feel sad. Fortunately, you and Duan Xiao are not the same type of person. You are the person who treats me the best in the world. Shang Xiao looked at Mu Qiqi and smiled. He did not care about her anymore. No one could say anything about Qianqian because she did not want to admit it. Jingyun has made some progress in the investigation. Do you want to know? What progress? Mu Qiqi quickly poked her head out of his arms. Jingyun found the doctor. He was fired by the hospital director because he did not want to change the conclusion and hide the fact that your father was hit by a car. Who was the person who hit my father? I'm afraid we have to look for the hospital director again. He is the answer to all the questions. Mu Qiqi lay on Shang Zhao's body. She looked into his deep and dark eyes. Her heart was deeply attracted to them. Shang Zhao saw her sticking out her butt like a kitten. He slapped her little round butt. Are you seducing me? Mu Qiqi quickly put down her butt. No. But I feel that your posture just now made my heart itch. Shang Zhao said and hugged Mu Qiqi tightly. Little one, don't you know that a man who has sex is the one you should not mess with? But if we do this every night, will I be like Qianqian? When did I not take precautions? Shang Zhao asked her confidently. Not every man likes to abuse a woman's body. At least, I can't wait to love your body. Abortion is too harmful to a woman. It will be a shadow for the rest of her life. How did you know? For you, I read the physiological data that only women read. Ungrateful little one. Shang Xiao said disdainfully. I'll take you to take a bath. Mu Qiqi nodded and wrapped her arms around Shang Zhao's neck in satisfaction, letting him carry her to the bathroom. It was no wonder. Shang Xiao was the one who knew her body the best. He knew better than she did when her period was. It seemed that ever since she had Xiao, she no longer remembered those days. Moreover, Shang Xiao would often ask her to make medicinal cuisine that was beneficial to a girl's body, because he knew that Mu Qiqi needed nourishment. She was a little thin, and he liked her to be healthy. Xiao, when Special Assistant Jing comes back, you must tell me. I want to know the result as soon as possible. Chapter 160. But even so, I still want to live with a clear conscience. Mu Qiqi smiled at him. You're asking for it. Shang Xiao looked at Mu Qiqi from above. His handsome face was right in front of her. But it's a coincidence that I'll teach you how to drive someday. You're my woman. How can you not know how to drive? I know, Mu Qiqi answered softly. If you know, then lie down and take a bath. What about you? Mu Chichi asked naively. You take a bath and I'll take a bath with you. The next day, Rong Junhan went to the hospital alone. Shin Jianchuan was determined not to let Huang Yu appear in his ward. He wanted to stand up for Mu Chichi, but Rong Junhan was not happy about it. Jianchuan, I know you want a daughter, but we've been together for so many years. I don't want us to be estranged because of this. Can't you let me handle Mu Chichi's matter? Mu Chichi is your daughter. Do you think I can bear to mistreat her? Moreover, I can't take care of you every day. If Huang Yu doesn't come to help, should I let Mu Chichi do it? Rong Junhan sat beside Shin Jianchuan and fed him breakfast after she reached the ward. But she put the porridge into Shin Jianchuan's mouth. Maybe she was taking revenge on him, but she still put the porridge into his mouth. Shin Jianchuan could not stand it anymore. He spat it out. Rong Junhan pretended that Shin Jianchuan was difficult to serve. She made others think that Shin Jianchuan was deliberately making things difficult for her. Jianchuan, what's wrong? It's hot, Shin Jianchuan said with difficulty. I'm sorry. I was too focused when I talked to you. I felt wronged. So I didn't take care of you. Rong Junhan was good at playing tricks. She would make Shin Jianchuan suffer a little. But she did not do it deliberately. Then, she blew on the porridge and put it into Shin Jianchuan's mouth. It was as if she wanted to see Shin Jianchuan relying on her. That would make her feel better. Shin Jianchuan could stand up for Mu Chichi. Then she would vent her anger on him. He was just a good-for-nothing now. Huang Yu stood at the door and watched. She did not dare to enter the ward. She was angry when she saw Rong Junhan being troubled by Shin Jianchuan. Her sister-in-law had done so much for the family. Not only was he not grateful, but he was also torturing her like this. As his sister-in-law, she felt very upset. How would she know about Rong Junhan's trick? However, Shin Jianchuan still had a backup plan. He did not expose Rong Junhan now because he owed her a favor. But it did not mean that Shin Jianchuan would accept it blindly. He would tell Grandpa Shin all the details. And when Grandpa Shin heard it, he would certainly be angry. What is she trying to do? Since they want to take care of you, why would they play these little tricks to torture you? It's all because I'm a cripple now, Shin Jianchuan answered. After hearing this, the old man felt a little sad. I'll get a nurse to look after her. I'm sure she won't be able to do anything else. Thanks, Dad. Such a woman has bewitched your sisters-in-law. Grandpa Shin patted his knee and sighed. I'm afraid they can't forgive her for taking care of you for more than 10 years. My sisters-in-law will understand it sooner or later. Understand? Grandpa Shin smiled meaningfully. If Rong Junhan was lying to them, it would not be easy to understand some things. I don't dare to let her into the Shin family when she is like this. It was not only because Rong Junhan was afraid of Mu Chichi. It was also because this woman was very cunning. I was blind in the past. If I knew it earlier, I would have agreed with you and Su Ziqing. Things would not have happened today. But Shin Jianchuan could understand Grandpa Shin's bitterness after he woke up from his sleep for so many years. How could he blame Grandpa Shin now? Especially now that he had Mu Chichi. It was all the love of a parent. Jing Yun was still investigating Rong Junhan. He wanted to get a result before Rong Junhan and Shin Jianchuan's wedding. But Shang Xiao did not tell Grandpa Shin about Shin Jianchuan being injured twice. Otherwise, if the result of the investigation was different from what he expected, the Shin family would be in a mess. However, as long as there was no conclusion to this matter, Mu Chichi would be on tenterhooks. She was afraid that wolves, tigers, and leopards would be by her father's side. There was another thing that worried Mu Chichi too. It was Qianqian's health. She was pregnant at the age of 18, but she still insisted on giving birth to the child. How much courage did she need? In between classes, Mu Chichi really wanted to call Qianqian to ask about it. But before Qianqian could call, someone she did not expect came looking for her. Are you Lu Qianqian's good friend? On the way out of class, Mu Chichi was stopped by someone. It was a girl who was dressed very fashionably. Needless to say, she was Duan Xiao's new favorite. My name is Bai Xinlan. I have heard a lot about you. I know you have been observing me for a long time. Mu Chichi looked at her and asked, "What do you want to do?" "I want to talk about your good friend. Lu Qianqian, are you free?" "I don't think you should come to me," Mu Chichi replied. "No matter how good your reason is, no matter how much you love Duan Xiao, and it is not a reason to hurt Qianqian." The girl smiled. "I know my family is not as good as Lu Qianqian's, but I have the right to love freely, right? Moreover, they are not married yet. But they are engaged. I want you to persuade your friend. How can she be a mother at the age of 18? Don't think that you can control Duan Xiao, and just because you gave birth to his child. Even if it is not me, Lu Qianqian will not be able to control Duan Xiao, and you have said a lot of nonsense. I agree with you. However, I will not make a decision for Qianqian." After saying that, Mu Chichi walked past Bai Xinlan and left her far behind. Bai Xinlan took a deep breath and smiled. "Why would anyone like a scumbag like Duan Xiao? Don't think that I will give up on Duan Xiaoan. I don't need Duan Xiaoan, but I need fame and money." Bai Xinlan wanted Mu Chichi to persuade Qianqian to abort the child. She did not want to control Duan Xiaoan, but how could she say that to Qianqian? But since Bai Xinlan knew about it, it meant that Duan Xiaoan already knew about Qianqian's pregnancy. Chapter 161. After class, Mu Chichi could not help but call Qianqian. "How are you feeling today?" "Chichi, I don't think I am good at all." Qianqian was sobbing. "I went for a checkup today. The doctor said that the baby is not in the right position. I might not be able to keep it. You are still so young. You will have a baby in the future." Mu Chichi felt sorry for her. But Xiaoan will not come back without a baby. After hearing this, Mu Chichi remembered that Duan Xiao and came to the school to pick up Bai Xinlan. She snorted. "Qianqian, can you stop lying to yourself? Chichi, can you stop scolding me and support me?" Mu Chichi took a deep breath and nodded. "Okay, which hospital are you in? I will go and see you. I have gone home. We will meet again another day." Mu Chichi was very angry, but she could not do anything. It was Qianqian's problem. What could she say? After returning to the small mansion, Mu Chichi stared at the medical book in a daze. Su Zipei saw her and asked, "What's wrong? You look dejected." "Aunt, I am just thinking about how terrible it would be for a woman to love the wrong person. Because of Qianqian." Su Zipei could guess it. This child is not bad. Her family background and status are all top-notch. Why does she have to stick to one tree? She is pregnant now. How old is she? Then, Mu Chichi looked at Su Zipei and asked, "You don't seem to worry about me at all. Why should I worry about you? I believe in young Master Sheng. Don't be fooled by the rumors about him. He is more sensitive and meticulous than anyone else. He would never allow what happened to Qianqian to happen to you." Su Zipei snorted. "You don't know how good of a man you have met." "I know. It's good that you know. As for Qianqian, you don't have time to worry about her." Then, Su Zipei thought of something important. "Chichi, what is it? Why are you so serious?" "I am going to register my marriage with your Uncle Lu," Su Zipei said embarrassedly. "He proposed to me. That's a good thing. When is the wedding?" "We don't plan to be extravagant. Let's just have a simple family dinner." Su Zipei smiled happily. "It's because of you that I can find new happiness. Chichi, you are my lucky star. Auntie, if it wasn't for you taking care of me, who knows what would have happened to me. I also hope that you are well." After that, they hugged each other tightly. Mu Chichi was happy that Su Zipei could find her own happiness again. Although she wanted to see her aunt get married, Lu Wenhua was not a luxurious person. So, she just let them be. Now, she had fulfilled one of her wishes. However, just as they were discussing if they should hold a small ceremony, Qianqian called. "Chichi, are you free? Can you accompany me somewhere? I don't know who to look for now." "I'll be right there." Mu Chichi hung up and called Shang Xiao. But Shang Xiao was in the middle of a business meeting, so he did not pick up the call. Mu Chichi looked for Qianqian first. She helped her up. Why do you look so haggard? Chi-Chi, I know where they are staying. Come with me. Are you saying that you are going to look for Duan Xiao-en and Bai Xinlan? Qian nodded. I called Xiao-en in the afternoon and told him about the baby. But he did not say anything. I guess he is with that woman, so… Why must you meet him? There are some things that I will only give up after I hear it with my own ears. Qian answered Mu Chi-Chi seriously. Come with me. Let's go. Mu Chi-Chi nodded, because she did not know what else she could do for Qian. Although Qian was still smiling and talking normally, Mu Chi-Chi knew that Qian did not have anything to support her now. The two of them took the car to the apartment that Qian had mentioned. She successfully found the house number that she had inquired about. Is it here? Qian nodded and rang the doorbell. After a while, Duan Xiaoan, who was wearing home clothes, opened the door. Bai Xinlan, who was also wearing pajamas, followed behind him. Why are you here? You didn't tell me about the baby. Didn't I say that it's up to you? Duan Xiaoan's attitude was cold. There was even impatience in his eyes. You can have the baby if you want. Anyway, both our families can afford it. But let me be frank. I will not help you. Have you no pride? You can still be so calm when you see your fiancé with another woman. I am impressed. Bai Xinlan snorted unhappily. You are almost like a teenage mutant ninja turtle now. Xiaoan, you have promised me that you will not contact other women. It's not like you don't know how playful I am. Do you want me to hang on to you when I'm only 18 years old? Duan Xiaoan laughed. You are already an adult. Why are you still so naive? Qian nodded with tears in her eyes. Okay, go back and take care of yourself. My mother is looking forward to having a grandson. After that, Duan Xiaoan closed the door. He did not feel sorry or care for Qian at all. Mu Chi-Chi stood behind Qian. She almost lost control of her emotions. She was about to hit Qian when Qian stopped her. Come with me to another place. Qian. Shoo, Lu Qian said. Then, she pulled Mu Chi-Chi and ran to the hospital. When they arrived at the hospital, she quickly told the doctor why she was here. Arrange the surgery as soon as possible. I want to abort the baby. Qian, it is late at night. You don't have to torture yourself like this. Is it worth it for that bastard? If you want the surgery, we should arrange the time and do it in the best hospital. You can't risk your health. Mu Chi-Chi held Qian's shoulder and said, Chi-Chi, I feel terrible. I know you feel terrible. Since you have already met him, you should give Duan Xiaoan a hard slap. Make him regret it. Mu Chi-Chi left the hospital with Qian. I will send you home. Qian cried in Mu Chi-Chi's arms. But she had really given up. Of course, Mu Chi-Chi's lower limit was refreshed too. That man really could give Mu Tongxue a run for her money. He was worse than a pig or a dog. Just like how I treated Mu Tongxue. What is there for you to miss about Duan Xiaoan? But Duan Xiaoan knows about your relationship with the Crown Prince. Just because of this? Xiao said that he will deal with it. You just need to take care of yourself. Mu Chi-Chi said seriously. Promise me. Don't be silly. Okay? Chapter 162. Why did they do this to me? What did I do wrong? Qian could not hold it in anymore. She cried in Mu Chi-Chi's arms. Why can they be so unscrupulous? Because Duan Xiaoan knows that you care about them. I don't care. I don't want to care anymore. Qian said hysterically. Chi-Chi, you are right. I am the eldest daughter of the Lu family. Why should I bow down to them? Since I have nothing left, what should I be afraid of? Mu Chi-Chi had never experienced what Qian was going through. Sheng Xiao was her first love and Sheng Xiao doted on her. So, she could not understand how much pain Qian was going through. However, she knew very well that Duan Xiao was a scumbag from the bottom of his heart. He was a complete piece of trash. Qian cried in Mu Chi-Chi's arms for a while. But soon, she felt that something was wrong. Maybe it was because she was too emotional that the child in her womb had a strong reaction. Chi-Chi, I think. What's wrong? Mu Qiqi saw that Qianqian was in pain. She made a prompt decision and sent her to the hospital. Then, she went to the emergency department as fast as she could. But the child was not saved. Mu Qiqi used Qianqian's phone to contact her parents. When they arrived at the hospital, they looked anxious and angry. "You are Qiqi, right? Thank you for what you did today." Mama Lu was in tears. "Auntie, Qianqian will get through this." Mu Qiqi comforted her. "We are friends with the Duan family. But I did not expect that they would treat my daughter like this. I will not let it go even if I die. I must make that child of the Duan family pay for what he did. Qianqian is fine. She just needs to be taken care of. You have been with her for a long time. Go back and rest, my good girl." Mama Lu said to Mu Qiqi gratefully. Mu Qiqi nodded. Soon, she came out of the hospital and found Shang Zhao's car in the underground parking lot. But she did not say a word after she got into the car. After a while, she sighed. "Duan Xiao and is not human at all. Xiao Xiao. I know everything. The Lu and Duan families might not have peace from now on. Fortunately, Lu Qianqian's family is richer than the Duan family. So, as long as the Lu parents come forward, Lu Qianqian would not be at a disadvantage. It's reasonable for the Lu family to suppress the Duan family in business. Is the Lu family stronger?" Sheng Xiao nodded as he drove. "That's really lucky. I really want to see the Duan family go bankrupt." It was the first time he heard such a curse from Mu Qiqi's mouth, and he found it quite refreshing. "Are you that angry? You didn't see how that shameless couple looked when they were together." Mu Qiqi was really angry. However, the scariest thing was that Qianqian's pregnancy and miscarriage were soon known by the people in the circle, and it was widely spread. The circle of nobles was only so small. Any jokes or scandals in the circle would, of course, be spread as gossip by the noblewomen. Of course, the Shen family had also heard about it. And the scariest thing they heard was that Mu Qiqi and Lu Qianqian were good friends. Since Lu Qianqian had done such a thing to ruin the reputation of the family, Mu Qiqi, as her friend, was certainly not a good person. When second aunt heard the rumor, she went home and complained to Grandpa Shen. "Father, what kind of friends does your precious granddaughter have? She got pregnant at the age of 18, and now she has a miscarriage. Everyone is talking bad about the Shen family." Grandpa Shen stopped Huang Yu after listening to her complaints. "I'm going to visit a comrade who's in a critical condition. You and Junhan should take care of the house. Don't cause any trouble. Just listen to the rumors." "Father, I've never been so embarrassed outside. There's a first time for everything." Grandpa Shen packed his luggage and planned to leave for 2 days. He wanted to see his comrade for the last time before he left. Because he was in a hurry, he did not have time to discuss it with the Shen family or Mu Qiqi. He only called Mu Qiqi before he boarded the plane. Huang Yu saw Grandpa Shen leaving, but there was no news about Mu Qiqi. She immediately looked for Rong Junhan. "Eldest sister-in-law, have you heard about the rumors outside? Did father scold you again? Don't you know who father dotes on the most now? Do you want to be scolded by yourself?" Rong Junhan sneered. "Eldest sister-in-law, you don't know how embarrassed I was in front of those rich ladies. They even asked me if Mu Qiqi was the eldest daughter of the Shen family. How could I answer them? Big brother's matter is already embarrassing enough. Everyone is laughing at Mu Qiqi's family background. If she doesn't behave properly, will the Shen family be criticized by others wherever they go?" It was obvious that Huang Yu was really angry. After all, anyone would get angry when they were embarrassed. Rong Junhan glanced at Grandpa Shen's study. Suddenly, she remembered that Grandpa Shen had left the house. "Father will definitely protect Mu Qiqi if he's here. Let's take this opportunity to teach Mu Qiqi a lesson. After all, she is a Shen. She must follow the rules of the Shen family. As her stepmother, of course, I have the responsibility to educate her. Eldest sister-in-law, you should have done this earlier. Because it was not just about the Shen family. It was also about the image of the Shen family. So, Huang Yu hoped that Rong Junhan could teach Mu Qiqi a lesson. With that idea in mind, Rong Junhan called Mu Qiqi. "Come to Shen Mansion after class tomorrow. Mu Chichi felt strange when she received the call. Of course, she knew that Grandpa Shen had left Jianchuan. So, she guessed that Rong Junhan must be up to no good when she called her. I'm sorry, Aunt Rong. I don't have the time. Mu Chichi rejected. I can't invite you, can I? Is it so difficult for you to come to our house for a meal? Mu Chichi looked at Shang Xiao, who was beside her. Shang Xiao said to her in a low voice, Why not? Mu Chichi thought that he was right. Grandpa was not here and the Shen family was not a dangerous place. Although she could not get along with Rong Junhan, there were still other people in the Shen family. So Mu Chichi changed her words. I will be there on time tomorrow night. It's good that you dare to come. Huang Yu finally calmed down after knowing the result. She would definitely cause trouble for Mu Chichi tomorrow. What about Mu Chichi? She looked at Shang Xiao. I don't even know why Rong Junhan came to me. You asked me to come. Grandpa is not here. Am I not able to fight against them? Chapter 163. You said it. Don't go back on your word. Shang Xiao pinched Mu Chichi's nose and deliberately stifled her. Of course I said it. But you should know why they are looking for you. You know? The news of your deskmate's miscarriage has been spread everywhere. The Shen family probably feels embarrassed. Shang Xiao leaned against the balcony of his house and said to Mu Chichi, They are asking you to go back just to teach you a lesson and not to get too close to Lu Qianqian. The news of Qianqian's miscarriage has been spread? Mu Chichi quickly got up and looked at Shang Xiao. The circle is only so big. It's easy to know about this kind of thing. Mu Chichi did not think about anything. She took out her phone and called Qianqian. Then Qianqian answered. Her voice was a little weak. Chichi? Qianqian, are you okay? I'm fine. I can get out of bed and walk now. Lu Qianqian answered Mu Chichi. But if you are asking me about my pregnancy before marriage and being laughed at by everyone, I can tell you that I am very sad. Qianqian. It's that bitch who spread the news. Lu Qianqian said to Mu Chichi coldly. There was even a hint of sadness in her voice. Now those rich ladies are laughing at me behind my back. I'm pregnant before marriage, shameless, and a broken shoe. Qianqian, don't worry. I won't let her get what she wants. Since the child is gone, this is the choice that God made for me. Lu Qianqian sounded like she was about to cry. I have thought about it very clearly last night. I love someone so much and think that I am not a hindrance to others. But in fact, I have hurt my parents. I have made them worry. I have made them unable to lift their heads in front of others. I am unfilial. From now on, I will not be so stupid. After listening to Qianqian's words, Mu Chichi was finally relieved. Qianqian, I have also experienced a lot of changes. I know how it feels, so let's do our best. From today onwards, those who bullied and mocked us will not dare to look us in the eye. Qianqian's words made Mu Chichi feel better. Chichi, I will do it. I believe you. Mu Chichi nodded. I'm gonna rest first. We'll talk later. After the call, Mu Chichi felt relieved. She had the courage to go to the Shen family tomorrow. Rong Junhan, second aunt? What was there to be afraid of? Does it matter whether they admit it or not? Xiao Xiao, you must come and save me tomorrow. If they bully me, I'll definitely fight back. I'm afraid that I'll be at a disadvantage if there's more of them. After Shang Xiao heard that, he put Mu Chichi on his shoulder and walked into the bedroom. In this world, I'm the only one who can bully you. After saying that, he gave Mu Chichi's round but a heavy slap. Qianqian hung up the phone so quickly because the Duan family had brought Duan Xiao En to the hospital to visit Lu Qianqian. Duan Xiao En was reluctant, but he had to obey his parents. You still have the cheek to come here? Mama Lu almost went up to them, but Papa Lu stopped her. Don't be rash. Madam, I'm really sorry about what happened to Qianqian. So, I've asked Xiao En to come and apologize to Qianqian. The Duan family knew that they were in the wrong, so they wanted to appease Mama Lu. But at that moment, Lu Qianqian, who was lying on the bed, suddenly said, Cancel the marriage. Everyone looked at Lu Qianqian, including Duan Shaoan, because this woman had always been following him. No matter how hard he tried to drive her away, she never changed. But now, she said that she wanted to cancel the marriage? Could it be that she was trying to buy time? No need. I'll marry you if you get what you want. But I don't want to marry you anymore, Lu Qianqian shouted. Her voice was trembling. You should marry Bai Xinlan. Are you serious? Don't regret it. The Duan family should regret it. All these years, my mother has taken care of the Duan family because I like you. But from now on, there will be nothing. Lu Qianqian pretended to be tough because she could not stand it anymore. Her mother had cried beside her bed the whole night. Qianqian, don't be angry. Shaoan said those words out of anger. Promise you. Auntie, you don't have to promise me. Yesterday, I was pregnant with your Duan family's child and went to look for him. But he lived with another woman. Do you really think I'm a slut? Lu Qianqian stubbornly held back her tears and said to Mother Duan. Shaoan, is what Qianqian said true? Yes. Before Duan Shaoan could finish his words, Mama Duan slapped him. Bastard. Qianqian is such a good girl. She has liked you for so many years. How can you let her down like this? I am only 18 years old. I will be tied to her forever. If it were you, would you be willing? You don't have to be. From now on, we are only enemies. We have nothing else to do with each other. Lu Qianqian said through gritted teeth. That's great. I can continue to live my life happily. Get lost. Lu Qianqian picked up the bowl of medicine on the bedside table and threw it at Duan Shaoan. Duan Shaoan, when we are no longer related, I will not indulge that mistress anymore. You have to believe that with the Lu family's ability, I can make her suffer. Don't you dare. Of course I dare. In order not to aggravate the conflict between the two, Mama Duan dragged Duan Shaoan out of the ward. At this time, Lu Qianqian was trembling. She was extremely emotional. Qianqian, don't be angry. Listen to me. Don't be angry. Dad, Mom, from now on, you can do whatever you want of the Duan family. You don't have to consider my feelings. Lu Qianqian grabbed her mother's shoulder and said, I want those who bullied me to pay the price. Qianqian, it's good that you understand. Papa Lu was relieved. Don't worry. That scumbag bullied my daughter. I will make the Duan family disappear from Zhenchuan. Lu Qianqian nodded. She would not stay idle. Since that bitch Bai dared to steal her man, she would wait and see. This scene happened in the ward. When Mu Qiqi found out about it, she felt extremely happy. In the middle of the night, the two of them were still talking on the phone. They seemed to be chatting happily. Qianqian, you should slap that scumbag's face like this. Hit the left side and hit the right side. You're tuning in to the Dreamy Chapters YouTube channel. We're so grateful for your support, and don't forget to subscribe to join us on this incredible journey through captivating stories. Your generosity through donations truly makes a world of difference, as it's the primary source of revenue that allows me to expand and enhance this channel for you. Thank you from the bottom of my heart for being a part of this adventure.